Hey, welcome to the game. The Great American Experience happens again. I'm the Wizard of Oz, and this is not my show. This show is put on by those who participate. Um, Sometimes it goes great, sometimes it don't. But let's see how tonight's party's going to go. We'll get the links out here, get everybody in. Uh, the show isn't about me; it's about the people who participate. Those who want to do. And we have a pretty good time usually. So grab a link, come up on the screen. Let's start the conversation, get the party started. Can't wait. All right. I'm going to, this is where I would normally play some music or something, but anymore, yeah, they don't like us to play music. So I'm going to post a link in the chat. Oh, hey, there. Hey, what's up?
Oh, I was just over on Michelle's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, pro-life.
Well, how's she doing?
She's doing good. She's showing a video of somebody talking about standing your ground. That sooner or later you're going to have to stand your ground because it's going to get to the point where they're going to back you into a corner about all this masking and all the other stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's a fact, most likely. Oh,
So, yeah, I harvested some jalapenos and ate them tonight. Oh my gosh, they're good.
oh wow.
They are. They're way better than the store.
Oh
Way
yeah.
better. A big difference. A real big difference. They're smaller, but they got a lot more taste to them.
That's only because you're ground. But next year, that same ground will be better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, wood chips and you kill it in, and yep, and just throw some more fertilizers on it. You know what I'm saying? And till it in for the winter. And next spring,
I actually like the size of these though. They're not coming out like really huge. They're I don't know, about the size of like your from your joint and your thumb to the tip of the thumb. That's about how big they are. They're not huge,
oh
but
wow,
some
that's small.
yeah, but they're coming out in different colors and stuff too. I'm getting them in red and black and green.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it could just be the where they because these were heirloom jalapenos.
I think that's just stages of ripeness, actually.
Yeah. Well, when they turn red, they're
Fully
uh,
ripe.
fully ripe. Yeah.
Just yeah, mine you can't hardly eat them. Um, I was thinking maybe trying to deep fry some. You know what I'm saying? Stuff them with cream cheese and freeze them. Kimmy, what's up? Yeah, Apex said he got hit with a storm and he lost power. As soon as he gets power back, he'll join us. So he's what's up, tow truck?
Canoes, tow truck.
What's up, Zoom?
Platoon.
Valentine, welcome in here.
Hi, Valentine.
But yeah, we had one hell of a storm here pass through. I don't think it's the same storm that hit him. At least I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I don't know. I got all my wood on sawhorses right now, so I'm not sure if I hope It doesn't look like any rain.
What's up, Sotos? Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, it didn't rain much here at the compound here. The ground's not wet hardly at all. But boy, I traveled through some storms, man. People were, stopping in the middle of the highway because they couldn't see.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was bad. It was coming down so hard, even on high. And I got my windows treated with that rain X.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was coming down so hard, I still couldn't see much.
Hey, I just found out Miriam made it down there.
Yeah, she made it down to Mexico.
Yep.
Good deal. Good deal. I wonder if she's going to be able to get across the border into the state, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if she wants to at this point. I know her dad was up here near me.
Well, she says she's staying down for over 3 months. She's going to be down there in the jungle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in their jungle camp. I think she's going to be there longer. I think she might not want to come up here until
Right?
after winter.
So Trump's back in power. Yeah, but she may want to stay down there for the winter, though.
Yeah, she's got a cabin. She says she's going to weather out the rainy season in the cabin and then move into a tent.
Oh, okay. Good
Uh-oh,
deal.
here she is. She's here.
Mr. Reed! Welcome in, everybody. God bless you. What's up, Skull? Southern Belle? Dear Butch? Miriam? Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Hi, Miriam. Good to see you.
Here, grab a link. Come on up.
Come up and talk to us, Miriam.
Yeah, seriously. You could do that.
Now you're a free agent.
We do too, Southern Belle. Good Lord. We just don't read it out loud. We read it. Hey, Deb. How you doing?
Dear
Miriam
bitch.
says hello. Buffalo Bill.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Miriam said hello.
Hi, Miriam. And Deb's here. She's in bed already. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. And unlimited data. So, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
gee.
probably got one of those pay-as-you-go phones.
Yeah, she said she'll have Wi-Fi soon. Hey, Dev. What you doing?
I see Deb. Hi, Deb. And hello, Deborah.
Oh, damn.
Gavalow? What's a Gavalow? Deborah, you said Gavalow. What's a Gavalow? Whatever it is, she's going to do it. Gobble out. Hey, Platoon. I see you.
What's up, Zim? I just had a party foul. I have to do a search for it. Just had a party foul.
A party?
Party foul, yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
I was so in a hurry to load the bowl because I just got back with the medicine.
Okay.
And fan blew the bag off the table.
So I've decided not to renew my CDL.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Well, why not?
Well, we talked about it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, putting you back in the system. And guess what? You got to pass DOT. What do you want to make a bet that say you got to get a vaccination?
That's why they're not going to get their stuff because a lot of drivers are doing just what I'm doing, cashing in their CDL, go to work doing something else.
Well, a lot of boys are all wrapped up in the finances on those risks.
Yeah, if you're an owner operator, I get that. I need some pie. I need pie. Well, Miriam's down there in Mexico, so maybe she can like catapult up some empanadas or something.
Yeah, Dev, take care. Dream well, Patriot.
Good night, Dev.
Something else says Miriam powers that be watch over you. You're going too. Where you going to go, Bell?
I'm staying here.
You been in Chattanooga all day, all afternoon?
Oh, Southern Belle.
Yeah, something else says she's taking off. Well, dream well,
Good night,
Patriot.
Southern Belle.
Good night. So, did you watch any news today?
Not me. No, not really. There's a there's a channel that I go on called the History Channel, and it's on Twitch, and I try to get updated on all the things that are going on with uh, the voter fraud analysis thing. I did find out something. I did find out something that he was saying. He says, I was thinking, personally, I was thinking the Dominion was a voter machine, but it's not. It's
It,
Dominion software.
yep, it's a software. Yep, it doesn't matter what machine they got.
Yeah, he says they're using
Software.
Dell. He says they're using Dell computers. They're Dell systems, and he says they're totally internet accessible, and which leaves a lot of wiggle room to do a lot of shenanigans.
Oh yeah, it does. Wait till you see what's going to happen to California.
Larry
It's
Elder.
gonna, that's going to blow up. That's going to
Larry,
blow up on them. This could be where they set the city on fire. I don't know.
could be.
Could be.
But you know, the California governor, whoever it may be, does actually wield a lot of power in that state.
Oh yes, he's like a president in that state. Yeah, they've given themselves so much power in those roles that yeah, it's
That
almost
is that is if he can get elected without the Dems cheating again.
yeah.
I just don't know if they've got everything wrapped up on all the cheating and the shenanigans in that state.
Uh, I don't know, man. That's gonna be crazy. Uh, Miriam loves you. Good news. Hey, TX Classic, how you doing? Welcome in. Oh
Knuckles? What Knuckles doofus? He's talking about some Knuckles doofus.
man. No, it's. I think that was over in Bears chat.
Oh,
Not
oh,
you.
is there somebody calling himself Knuckles or something?
I think so. I didn't get a chance to say much over there or watch much. I just got back from St. Louis.
Aaron's chat.
Yeah, Bear got banned today.
He did.
Hopefully, it's only a 24, 48 hour deal, but it had to have been a troll. Something got in there and did some stupid shit. Yeah.
He's suspended.
So yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, that's the thing, though, man. It's always stupid shit like that.
And it's only against conservatives and patriots. Nobody else. If you're liberal or you got porn or something, you're fine.
Right, right. But as soon as you do Infowars or proclaim your independent thought, fire in the motherfucking bowl. This one goes out to Bear.
Fire in the bowl.
Brought to you by Gravy Biscuit Farms.com.
.com.
Yeah, rock on. Dot com. But yeah, so hey, I even stopped and refreshed. I restocked on my pies on my way back. I had to pick up milk for Princess because she say what?
She's such a good dog.
She is. She is awesome. She's a really good mama.
Well, how come nobody else is jumping on the stream with us? What the heck?
Well, Canoes is up. What's up, Canoes?
But he's not up on the stream.
He's in the chat.
I know.
Okay. Domino's closed early. Oh my god, not enough staff. What the hell? I guess they had to fire people who wouldn't get the shot, or people quit, so they didn't have to get it. It's really going to make a difference. It's really going to. It's going to make a That's going to make a huge difference in availability of things. I'm telling you, it's not just deliveries, restaurants, warehouses,
Yeah, it
rest.
hasn't started yet.
Oh, it's starting.
Yeah, it's starting a little bit. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing things not. Yeah.
Now, I just feel sorry for those places like Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You know, these places that are all tied up with their North Carolina, with their progressive Democrats. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hey, Bruce Wayne's in the chat. How you doing, Bruce? Hey, there's Dear Butch. Hold on.
Wait,
What's up, Butch?
There he goes.
can you guys see me or?
We see a picture of a dog.
Oh no, that's weird. Why did that's my sister-in-law's dog. I don't wait, I don't know how
You
to check.
chose it. You hid your camera and it puts that image up.
Yeah, I don't know how to change that. Want to watch my sister-in-law's dog, or would you rather see me?
It don't matter. It's what you want to do, bro.
I don't know. Well, how do I? No, I'm trying to learn some of this stuff. So
Oh, hey, I just wanted to remind everybody we have an addendum to rule number one: drunkenness.
what?
Drunkenness. If you get drunk and you get obnoxious, tell you to take a break, and then if that's it's time to take a break. You know, like come back tomorrow with sober up kind of thing. So don't get any offense. Okay,
There you go.
nothing
Rule
personal.
number 4.
That's rule number 1A because
Okay,
it's still kind of like part of rule number one. So
there I am. I figured it
yeah,
out.
But
Right.
but
just what he's saying is just don't come up here all shit faced and stuff. I mean, it's not anti-drinking. It's just,
yeah,
just
you can drink stuff. Just don't be obnoxious.
yeah. When you start getting shit faced or whatever and losing your mind.
If I do, just tell me.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we'll say the key word is the safe phrase is it's time to take a break, everybody.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before, but I've never been blocked or banned or timed out on any
No,
channel.
no, no,
So.
no. Nobody's gonna get
No,
banned or
I'm not
blocked.
saying that. I try and be reasonable, and when I know that I'm kind of hit my limit, I just say goodbye, or I hit the wrong button and leave.
Right.
So now I actually have a tripod, so I think I can. I don't need to see myself. I can probably go to chat, and I can at least read chat. I don't have to hold my phone.
Skull's like listed out rule number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on.
Comments. All right. Now I can see chat.
You know what, TX Classy? That always pisses me off when they say our democracy. I was like, yeah, you're a democracy, but I don't know where the fuck you're going with that because
Zoom.
we're a republic, not a democratic republic. We are a republic. Okay,
We're not Democratic Republic of the Congo.
it is the republic for the United States of America is what it should be. Say the Democratic Republic. It doesn't say the People's Republic. It doesn't say the Democratic Nation. It says it's a republic. Nah, that other bullshit. Exactly. Well, you know what? Classy speech is free, but there is responsibilities when you use it. Somebody's gonna come back at you. You're gonna have to defend it one way or another, or
Right. Sovereign nation. Exactly.
We're a constitutional republic and a federation of nations. Excellent.
And we're supposed to be a sovereign nation too.
The federation is to create the federal government, to provide for the common defense, and to protect the environment so that against other nations, they're moving. That's the reason the federal government was created, not this book. Right.
So I'm really kind of pissed off at Romney again. Romney did it again. He jacked up tobacco taxes. He jacked up vape taxes.
How did he do that?
Huh?
How does he do that? He's a senator.
He's a senator. That's
How did
how.
he do that for the state?
No, it's on a federal level.
On a federal level?
Yeah, it's on a federal level. Yes. That's what I've been asking people, and they say it's a federal thing. They lowered the amount of nicotine that's allowed in the vape juices from 5% down to, I think it's like 2.3. And I've been smoke free for over 3 years, and I'm I don't know what I'm going to do because, yeah. Anyway, I'm a little irritated.
So the 2.5 thing ain't working for you?
No, it's not now.
I didn't know nothing about it. I had no idea.
They cut it below half of the nicotine strength. And no, it's not working because as you know, you go smoke like Marlboro Lights or whatever. You go to light cigarettes and things like that when you're a smoker, and you just wind up smoking more cigarettes.
Yeah, like Skull says, you can make your own juice.
I know. I've been trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, Bruce, that piece of shit needs to get his ass court-martialed. Aid and comfort to the enemy. General Milley, yeah, fire the bowl. Oh, but yeah. But yeah, you can make your own vape juice, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how because I don't
Well,
use
you buy the components, you buy the flavorings, you can buy the glycerin, you can buy, the nicotine, and you just mix it yourself.
All right, well, I'm working on it. So
Right. You can probably get a lot of the stuff off of Amazon. So I don't know where else. I'm sure there are other sites.
yeah, I think it's. But see, I don't do the vape like a lot of people are doing the flavored vape juices. They're using I use Nick salts, so it's different than the other vape juice, the watermelon and bubblegum flavor crap and all that.
It's still here, Bruce, but they put a mask on it. They put a mask. That's kind of what they did. They put a damn mask on it.
Okay.
So, man, it's too early for pie, and I kind of want a pie.
I'd like some pie. Speaking of pie, where's Huckleberry?
Huckleberry pie.
Yeah.
We need some huckleberry.
She said she was going to make me a huckleberry pie, but she never did.
Make a darn good apple pie. I got no apples this year in my orchard.
That's too bad. You're pretty far. You're pretty far up north, though. That's probably why.
No, we had a really bad drought this year. My cherries didn't produce anything. My pears didn't produce anything, and my apples. There's some apples, but they're half the size. My tomatoes are like a half pound. They should be a pound or two. Just watering doesn't work.
Same here.
It's the sun. It's the sun.
No, it's not. No, there's some nutrient in rainwater that you can't, or that's the crap they put in the city water, because I water with city water.
It's the nitrogen.
Nitrogen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would say, but I don't. I water off my well.
Yeah.
And I'm having the same problem.
Yeah, it's not.
It's the sun.
It's not the same as rainwater. It's not the same.
Well, I'm having problems, and I'm telling you, it's the sun.
Mm.
The sun is different.
We got plenty of sun.
Hey, I didn't have any problems with my solar until like just before the leaves fell off.
My wife
but now the sun is shading my panels. That's getting low in the sky, a lot lower than it did last year. Fast.
Yeah.
And it's not right. I'm already
there is something weird going on with the sun. That's true.
My wife used to claim that thunderstorms release nitrogen, and that was good for plants. We haven't had any this year. I'm not a meteorologist, but there might be something to that.
Lightning actually makes a positive charge in particles that are in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And so just the lightning alone cleans out the air.
Well, yeah, when it strikes, the air that it passes through is brought to like 2,000 degrees or something.
Yeah, it works like a giant ionizer.
Yep.
Yeah, and she actually did study meteorology for a little while, and I know someone would have to Google it, but she claimed that lightning released nitrogen in the air, and that was good for plants.
How can lightning release nitrogen?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what my wife wasn't very smart, but she knew how to cook, and she studied meteorology for a little while. So
that's good.
Probably the high temperature electricity reacting with the oxygen. I don't know. I never questioned it because I never questioned anything she said.
Shit.
Well, I was a good husband. You learn in the first year, don't argue with your wife.
Well, you were obedient. She had you wrapped around her little finger. You were obedient.
No, I just didn't want to pick a fight.
I'm messing with you, dear Butch.
I get that, but I was a good, a good guy. But I didn't take shit. But she'd throw out some fact or something like that, and I learned, if you hit Google and find out she's wrong, and you tell her she's wrong, she'd go, "You're just doing that to piss me off." So I wouldn't do it anymore.
Yep.
Let her think what she wants to think. Who cares?
She's going to think what she's going to think no matter what you say.
Mm-hmm. I can't change. Women, you can't change your mind.
Nope.
Bruce Wayne says he had ice in his car yesterday morning. Says we're in for a harsh winter. But he is in Montana, in the mountains, further north than Helena Mountain.
Well, Farmer's Almanac said it's going to be a harsh winter.
Really?
Yeah. In the north.
That's what I heard.
They're saying that it's a high probability of having a La Nina year.
Which
a lot of snow and ice.
Wetter and warmer, but I heard What I heard was heavy snow and very cold, which kind of contradict themselves. Usually when it's cold, it doesn't snow. I mean, really cold.
Right.
So it'd be probably a cycle. You get that Arctic blast, and then that'll go away, and then you get all the weather from the west, and we get dumped on by snow.
But you know
We haven't
what?
had
We'll
a good
see.
we haven't had a good snow year in I don't know how many years now. I get a snowmobile that just sits there and rusts.
Right. Yeah, we had effectively we had 2 weeks of hard winter last year.
That's about it.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah. I
But
snowplow.
but I could stand with some snow. You know what I'm saying? I could see getting a bunch of snow.
Well,
That'd
hell, last year ice fishing's a big thing here in Minnesota, and
You know,
we started getting ice in like November, and then it all thawed out again. And I don't think we could get a fish house on until like mid-January last year. It was the warm winter.
well, there's like a band in the middle of the country that runs east to west.
Yeah.
That's going to be kind of unpredictable and because there's going to be two different types of patterns. Stupid thing.
Most of the year we had a weird jet stream last winter. That I think that was a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of kept going. It come up to Minnesota. I can't even see myself doing it. Come up to Minnesota, they go kind of over us. So we're kind of on that lower side. We're staying warm half the winter, which is good if you work outside, but bad if you like to ice fish.
Yeah. Even our lakes didn't stay frozen very long. The lakes just froze like down in the low areas around the 4,300 foot elevation. Uh, they froze for about a week and a half. That those lakes did,
Yeah.
and the ones up in the mountains stayed frozen, but they didn't. The ice wasn't as thick in the mountains here. That was the thing about that. Yeah, there are some things that are going on. You know, it's been real moderate. And another thing, our water levels are extremely low in all the reservoirs and everything. Extremely low, almost dried up low. So we may not have drinking water. We could be going into famine here on top of the drought. And like I was just telling the wizard, I said my jalapenos didn't get any bigger than the tip of my thumb.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah, my,
No, yeah.
tomato,
I
my
know I have the
tomato,
same problem.
my tomatoes are only slightly larger than a Roma tomato, and they're
Yeah,
supposed to be a lot bigger.
yeah. The tomatoes I grow, they're well, variety doesn't matter. They're a little smaller than a tennis ball, and last year we were getting them like 1.5 to 2 pound tomatoes, like this big. So it's just bad year for everything, I guess.
It is. I think it's actually the nitrogen, the lack of nitrogen. If you're
Yeah.
watering like crazy and nothing's happening, it might be the nitrogen levels. I mean, I have a bumper crop of tomatoes and jalapenos, but they're all small.
And that's the weird thing is I've been doing a regular fertilizer like I normally do, so I'm giving them a Miracle Grow and a like a vegetable boost supplement fertilizer, and none of that seemed to help this year. It's Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature is going to do.
I just use fish emulsion and kelp. That's
Okay,
all. That's all I'm using for fertilizer.
Nice and natural.
Yep. And I
I'm
found
eating rabbit and chicken manure, eggshells, cheese, and coffee.
and I literally had a locust, not a grasshopper, but a literal locust eating my jalapenos.
Really?
Yes, a scary looking locust, like the kind, the plague locusts,
Yeah.
that have the stripes on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, did you guys have the cicadas out there?
no.
No, you didn't. Okay, because I heard it was going to be a bad year. I don't know where. I thought there was Eastern United States. They're going to be this 17-year swarm of cicadas, and
Yeah,
Well,
these coast got hit
that's
pretty hard.
normal. Be right back. I'm at the store. I'll be right back. I'm not going to
All
come
right.
off.
Yeah, I heard the East Coast got hit pretty good with the cicadas and stuff.
sorry, I'm reading. I can actually, I can kind of read. Not too hammered. I can still read.
Yeah, Brian. Well, I tell you what, Vaughn, I can go there, I can see it, but I can't participate. They say I'm behind some kind of firewall or VPN, and I'm not. But they say I am, so it won't let me do shit.
So you guys have all done this, and you've seen. If you ever haven't seen what I do, it's just from my phone. And if I
Right.
go out and buy a laptop, I get some help. Does Twitch have like a control panel, or do I need to download something to like Streamlabs or something like that, or whatever?
Um, they do have a control feature
They do, but
themselves.
you need to
Yeah.
have a laptop to do that.
Um, it's
I don't
probably
think
better. Yeah.
I can't find it on my phone.
Right.
I'm just asking if we don't need to talk about that here. Maybe it's better off in a personal thing rather than involving everyone in that.
Yeah. I see. I do have a laptop, so I don't have to worry about trying to find it on the phone.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's there on the phone. Kind
No,
of
I
thing.
I even searched it on Google and stuff and in the Twitch app and stuff, and I couldn't find anything. So
But yeah,
anyway, probably not a good conversation for here because it's not entertaining. I'm just asking advice quickly, and we'll move on.
so all this stuff with Democrats, they Bruce Wayne was saying that General Milley made a phone call to China and told them that he would keep them abreast of whatever. I didn't see any links. I was going to ask Bruce if he has a link to something about that. But yeah, I'm not sure what the. That's kind of fucked up. Then it just went away. Oh, maybe I'll check it again. Yeah, cool.
I get all my news from Don Beers, and I can't even watch that now.
Wow, right, right. Well, it's he'll be back.
I know.
Had to have been
Hopefully,
a troll or something got in his chat. I have no idea what's going on.
that's kind of what I got, and I wasn't there, so I'm not. I can't. Well, maybe someone else would jump up and fill you in. I just heard it was somebody going after Zoom, and Zoom got maybe a little crazy. I don't know. Zoom, you're here. Tell us what happened, or don't. That's fine. But my number 3 rule is don't pick on Zoom. So people go after them, and it's whatever. We always protect Zoom, and I think the thing I think with Don Bears is it's more of a free speech channel. So I think moderators allow people to say things that probably they shouldn't allow people to say, because we don't want to be, well, not we, they don't want to be blocking people because it's a free speech channel. And so a lot of things go untouched, and
undisciplined.
and and maybe somebody should have got on that earlier. And that's just my impression. I wasn't there. So
But
I was busy shooting clay pigeons all day today.
oh yeah, you were shooting pigeons, huh?
Clay pigeons, yeah. Bless you.
You get good at it?
No, I suck at it. But I donated money and we had fun for the support the troops thing, and
oh wow.
yeah, it's a good cause. And I told everyone I you're shooting sporting clays, and I have a semi-auto and a double barrel, but I wanted to shoot the gun I always shoot, my old 870 pump, the one I got when I was 14.
Yeah.
So I shot that, and I shot really not too bad. I shot kind of crappy, but it doesn't matter. I haven't shot sporting clays in, hell, I don't know, 20 years. That's tough. You ever shoot sporting clays? That's tough.
Then you practice up. That's cool.
It's more of a get together than a competition anyway. So we're just having fun with it.
Still honing your skill. Your skill.
It does, but I don't hunt much anymore. Yeah, deer are easier for me to hit. Grouse, ducks. I'm not quite that quick anymore. Pheasants maybe, but not grouse or duck.
So.
Yep. I could add to that. I don't really have much of a story on it. It was, like I said, it was support the troops. They do a lot of good things for military veterans and family of veterans who are stationed overseas. Sorry, I'm stuttering.
Hey, here you go, Carpenter. Come on up.
Carpenter.
Yep, he says he's prepping for whacking quackers.
Yepers. Had a lot of practice today, but I think the ducks are safe. Geese, not so much, but the ducks are safe.
Right.
Bonking honkers and whacking quackers.
Wait, I can't see. Is that you, Carpenter?
No, that was.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I can't see.
Not up yet. Carpenter's not up yet.
Come on, Carpenter.
Carpenter should come up.
Hmm?
Yep, we're talking about your favorite subject there, Carpenter. Come on up.
Hard to believe duck opens already. Like the summer flew by so damn fast.
I like fishing. I fish a lot. I haven't been hunting lately. A lot of my good hunting areas are all tied up, and I never can draw out in time, and blah blah blah.
I just work.
What's up, AZ?
And they're having a drought down there in New Mexico, and they're saying they're finding a lot of dead elk and stuff in New Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
Easy.
Dying from the drought.
From the drought?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what parts of New Mexico, and I don't know if all of New Mexico is the same, because I think they have different weather patterns in different parts of the state. See, the northern part of New Mexico is like connected to Colorado, so. I don't know nothing.
Hey, Bill, you got the floor. Bill, Bo, Butch.
Bye.
Oh, there's Carpenter. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Carpenter?
Nothing.
Oh, no, I want to go get my phone. Hey, Carpenter, do a feeding call for me. Hey, that's pretty damn good. That was always a tough one for me.
See if you know what this one is.
Canadian honker.
That
How
was a
about
bad
this one?
one. That was a
Oh,
bad
this
one.
one.
Wood duck?
No?
Yep. Wood
Is
duck.
it a wood duck?
Yep.
No. My wood duck call sounds nothing like that.
I fucking love this shit. Oh my god. Fuck.
So
There's
how many
times in my life, you guys, I'd rather hunt than fuck.
strings of decoys have you got?
What's that?
How many strings of decoys do you own?
Got 96
Oh lordy.
goose. Canadians, we got wood ducks, green wing teal, blue wing teal, wood ducks, spoonbills, probably another 150, 175 of them.
Do they make a loon call?
Yeah, but we don't usually shoot them. Loons are pretty cool though.
You can't hunt loons.
They're edible, aren't they? Can you eat a loon?
We could eat a bald eagle.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything that's slower than me. Food supply if I'm hungry enough.
Oh yeah.
Would loons taste like mergansers, though? That's what I'm wondering.
We've been seeing a lot more canvas backs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're starting to come back pretty good now.
Yeah. What area are you hunting?
Zumbro River Valley.
Oh yeah, down by Rochester, New Ulm, and
Yeah, Chatfield.
okay.
Back in that area. Do a lot down there and down in Wabasha in the backwaters.
I almost moved to Wabasha one time.
Yeah.
I do a lot of fishing and hunting around, or
Yeah.
hunting ducks, not deer, ducks, but a lot of fishing and hunting around that area.
Cool. It's pretty down there.
Yeah, got my Browning out.
I almost moved to Wabasha. I got a job down there, and then the guy who I was working for offered me more money to stay, so I stayed. 2 weeks later, he fired me after I turned down the other job. What a dickhead, huh?
Wow, what did he fire you for?
And that was the start of my carpentry career.
Wow.
Said I'm never working for somebody again.
What apparently did you do?
Nothing. I think he was pissed because I gave my 2 weeks notice. I don't know. No idea. My sales were up double from what they were the month before. So I don't know what I did. All he said was, "We need to make room for somebody to take your spot. They're coming over from the truss plant or whatever." And I said, "Oh, whatever, fine. So I'll collect unemployment for however long, and I'll go work for cash for a while." That's why I learned carpentry.
Yeah.
And I said, never again will I work for somebody. And I did for 4 years, somewhere in the middle of that. And I said, never again will I work for somebody.
Did anybody ever do goose hunting out of ground blinds? Layout blinds?
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Yep.
I got one of them big layout blinds you spread out, and then you cover it with corn stalks and you lay in it. And you'd be amazed at how big they look when they eat them. And when they come gliding in, they're floating in. And when they lift their head, what they're doing is they're looking for a place to set down. And when they lift your head, you got about 2 seconds. And then they're like shooting balloons.
Yeah.
Because they can't get away. They can't, when their head's up, they can't, maneuver like they can when their head's down straight.
So do you have to wait until they get into flight before you can shoot them?
Well, yeah, we do. Like, if you guys ever get a chance to go duck hunting with me, don't ever ground swat.
No,
they get pissed if they land in the decoys. You got to scare them out and try to get them as they fly away.
I'll tell you, I never actually duck hunted.
Carpenter, right? It's easier to actually shoot them when they're on the wing than sitting in the water, damn near.
Yeah, these guys I hunt with get madder. I hunt with well, I tell you his name, but I probably shouldn't on the internet because he probably doesn't want his name. But I hunt with a world-class duck caller.
Okay.
And yeah, he's dead set against ground swatting.
I don't. Only in a wounded bird would you ever.
Oh yeah, we smack them. If you flap them and they're flopping around, you hit them again right away.
The funny thing is, you could put shot spread all around them, and it doesn't seem to hit them.
One time I wish my kid Mike had the video. There was a lone honker came into of all things, onto the river into our set of duck decoys. A lone honker, great big one. And I mean, these guys I was hunting with, you guys, these are all veteran, really good hunters. Well, I was kind of off to one side, so I wasn't in on the action. I was just watching the whole thing. This lone comes in, and 4 guys unloaded on him, and he just casually flapped his wings and flew away. And my kid caught it all on his camera. I never laughed so hard in my life. And then I watched the same guy that's the good caller. This mallard came into our goose decoys out in the cornfield, because mallards will land in with your geese decoys.
Sure.
And this mallard was coming in landing, and everybody blazed away at it, missed, and the guy was laying on his back, and he put his gun up pointed his gun behind him, pulled the trigger, and shot the thing flying away. I wish I would have got that. That was one of the prettiest shots I never seen nothing like it.
Yeah, my grandpa used to take me out. I went out with him a couple of times, but I wasn't really even old enough to hunt. So, and I wasn't big enough to handle his big shotguns,
Yeah, Jackson, he's not ready for the shotguns. They're flinging around too much. You got to have control of the barrels.
But I'll be honest with you. I've never actually, pulled the trigger or anything on any waterfowl.
Like you were saying about shooting, when you're shooting them when you're shooting clays or ducks, and it's really important on the green wing teals, the greens and blues, because they're just like, and wood ducks are really fast too, but not like the green wings and the blue wings. You don't, everybody says lead them, you shoot where they're going to be. But if you try to do that, it's like you're too slow and you'll shoot behind them. The way to do it is pull your bead, get on the bird, pull your bead, and come up through the tail and across the bill. And then time it so when your bead comes off its bill, you pull the trigger. And depending on how fast they're going, is how far ahead you pull when what do they call it? I think they call it swing through. You swing through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of getting out in front of them, a lot of guys that that don't hunt very much, they'll try to get out in front of them and shoot out in front of them, but you don't. You pull through. You pull through the bird, and then you go off the beak.
That's something you learn in trap shooting, especially on the angles.
Yeah.
And skeet shooting, same thing too. You keep your eyes open, and I'm doing it. I can't see, but you keep your eyes open. You find that pigeon or the bird, and you catch up to it, and just as you're getting past it, pull the trigger.
And skeet's tough to shoot.
Well, I'm wondering what you guys do with your birds when you get all these birds.
Well, like a few of them we give away, but we eat them a lot. We make duck poppers a lot. You breast them, cut the breast in half, wrap them in bacon, hold the bacon on with a toothpick, load them up on a cookie sheet with tin foil, and then you bake them for about 45 minutes in the oven at like 350. And they're like one bite. They're a big bite, but they're one bite. And it's like piece of half. It's actually a half a piece of bacon wrapped on them. It's a half a piece of bacon and a half a duck breast a bite.
Do you ever skin them and taxidermy them?
No, I haven't yet. I got my of all things. I got my first band last year before last.
Because I had
all the years I've been hunting. See, we're not in the flyway over here. You get your bands out in the Dakotas more, out in western Minnesota and out into the Dakotas. You'll get your bands out there because they go up in Canada and they band them all when they're in the nest, and then they fly down through. I got a band, and it was from somewhere over in the middle of South Dakota, North Dakota border.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. If you ever get if you get any feathers that are big enough for fletching arrows, I'd like some. And also hackles. The hackle that's on the neck feathers, I use them for tying flies.
I got a bunch of the mallard curls. I got kind of a
mallards are awesome. Mallard
curls.
Yep.
How about squirrel? Squirrel's good for flies too.
They're good for making like nymphs and muddler minnows and stuff like that. I can make hoppers out of them. I make them out of elk actually. I use elk hide for minnows and stuff.
Yeah, my kid's into that fly fishing big time. That fucking fly fishing rod, I think he's got $300 just for the rod.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know where it's like built. The guy builds them down in Winona or something.
Right.
But he can work them good. Me, I fuck that shit. I use a spinner on a 30-second white rooster tail, and I just throw small spinners because I can't. I end up in the trees and.
Right.
I mean, I can really get it going, but I can't like he can control like you can put a pop can out there at like 75 feet. And he'll sit there with that thing, and he'll whip it, and he'll slap that fly on that pop can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's really good. But he's into it. He fishes walleye and everything with it.
Yeah.
I like fishing cat, actually.
Yeah, bass is pretty fun, too. I don't ever eat them.
Cat, yeah.
I don't fly anymore, but I am an angler. I do a lot of lures. I'm doing a lure making business right now. I'm starting up my own lure making business.
Nice.
Making signature lures. One of a kind signature lures. Sometimes they're I make everything from poppers to freaking fish. I mean, I make stuff that looks like fish, everything. I'll show you. I actually put it on screen, my lure making machine. Or my dryer.
Yeah, you got one of them clips, and then you spin them. That's what Mike does. He does all that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I got buddies that are. I got a buddy that's a pheasant freak. I got a buddy that's a trout freak. I got another buddy that's a turkey freak. That turkey buddy was one of my laborers back when I was in the trades, and he's the one taught me about turkey hunting. Like I was going out. First turkey I ever had come up to me. This turkey's at like 10 yards from me, right? I got a 12 gauge with a 3-inch round, 1.25 ounce, number 4s. I pulled up on the bead and I shot, and I put the bead, literally laid the bead right on the top of the head of the bird so that, you'd smack it in the head, right? I pulled the trigger, you guys, and right behind it looked just like a 12 gauge slug going in the ground. I went back and told him, I said, Dave, what the hell? How did I miss it? That he goes, well, you can't do that when they're too close because the heavy loads like that don't open up. He said some of them don't open up till 25, 30 yards.
Didn't you share some footage of a turkey you shot? I think you did.
Yeah, I got pictures of them. I'm sure I have. Yeah, I've got like my two biggest ones is the one that I show all the time. The one I got in Wisconsin and the one I got here in Minnesota. The one I got here in Minnesota was huge. 28. One's like 28, 13, and 28.7.
Yep, gobblers are on my list.
What am I seeing? Sausage biscuit, gravy biscuit backstage?
I'll tell you what, you guys, that turkey hunting.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry.
That turkey hunting is fun.
I was away from the computer.
I want to do it.
Come back up.
Well, you know how you're quiet? like deer hunting, you got to be ultra quiet and all this kind of shit. So and I'm like I'm a whitetail freak. That's my niche is whitetail, and it's like totally different because you got to talk to them. Doesn't matter how much. Like you can sit there and talk like we are right now. You can sit, and as long as they don't see you, they don't give a shit. What did Dave told me one time? He said you could be sitting in your blind. He said you could shit your pants and be arguing with your wife on the phone. And if they don't see you, they'll walk right up to you. But he said if you're out in the open, in order to kill turkeys, you have got to have something in between you and them, a bush, a tree, something.
Yeah. Something to break up your outline.
Yeah, it's the way their eyes work.
I had one jump out in front of me on an elk hunt up in the high country. Yeah. And I didn't even know we had turkeys in my, and we didn't. They just introduced them. They're not even from here, and they're way up high. And now they've been bringing in grouse too, woodland grouse. So I got to do some grouse. I got to do some bird hunting. Damn it!
Grouse. I think grouse is the single best upland bird there is to eat. They're like giant chicken McNuggets.
Yeah,
they're better than pheasant for sure.
Way better, no comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw a flock of grouse. These grouse look just like those California quail, except bigger.
Yeah. There's still a lot of grouse, but they're kind of scarce around here now.
Their behavior is the same as a quail.
Oh, quail. The coyotes got bad around in this area, all around this area, like even all the way over to deer camp. That's 75 miles away. The coyotes have gotten so bad that it's just really knocked down the grouse and pheasant population. Horrible. That's why, everybody gives me hell about it, but I shoot them fuckers no matter what.
Somebody showed me a picture the other day off of their game camera of a coyote carrying a complete fawn. Killed it, and it was carrying it away. Fawn deer.
Yeah. We find them all the time in the woods. They'll kill them, and then they'll chew on them for a minute, and then they'll leave them. Mm-hmm. And they did a study out. They did a study out in where the hell was it? Nebraska. They had these two dens on the sides of this big huge sand dune, and one of them had like 11, and one of them had like 9 fawns.
Oh, jeez.
Like a third eaten, not even finished.
Yeah.
So they'll go out. They say they're the only animal coyotes they'll hunt for sport.
Wolves do it. Wolves do it.
I ain't had them. I'd love to shoot them though. I'd love to hunt them.
Oh. The wolves up in Wyoming, they go up there. Anything that moves, they'll just chase it. I don't know why. They'll chase it, but they're finding like half-eaten freaking calves, and they're finding cows with their tails chewed off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll chew the tail off.
Look what they did to Yellowstone, the elk in Yellowstone.
Right.
I mean, what was that, like 5 years or 6 years? And they decimated, was like the premier elk hunting spot in this country.
Liberals.
Yeah, and they went in there and they said, we got to introduce wolves back to their natural habitat. Well, they introduced the wolves and dropped the population like 70%.
That's okay to have wolves, but like in Minnesota, we had what was it, Carpenter? 1 year or 2 years? I think it was 1 year we had an open season on them. Trapping.
Yeah.
And then they, then it went to the court and they pulled it away from us again.
Yeah.
And they need to control that population. Instead, what they do is they just send a paid hunter to go up and take care of the nuisance animals. Well, that doesn't control the population.
No, isn't that retarded?
It is retarded. I mean, we are higher up on the food chain than they are, and we should be able to take those and control the population. We don't want to decimate them. Now, coyotes, that's one thing different. You can just decimate those little bastards, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, every year there's a record number of coyotes killed in the United States. And every year their numbers are increasing.
Yes.
They do reproduce. Holy crap, do they reproduce?
Yeah, you really, I'm serious. It sounds cruel and it sounds horrible, but if you want any other game animals around, you want to kill them things. They're terrible.
you want to keep them to a certain level.
Yeah, but not enough. They're so damn hard to get, you know.
Well, what
You
happens? And it's a cycle, and you know this because you've studied wildlife and stuff. It's like fox and pheasant. Fox and pheasant. You've got a lot of pheasants and not many fox. Well, then you start, because there's a lot of pheasants, you get more fox.
Yep.
And then when you get more fox, there's very few pheasants, and the fox start to die off. So
Yeah.
if you control the fox, you keep some fox and more pheasant. If you just let nature do its course, it's like I think it's a 7-year cycle.
That's what happened here. The rabbits. When I first moved back to Utah, there was jackrabbits. I'm telling you, probably about every 5 feet there was a dead jackrabbit on the highway.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And then people started, and that was because they were hunting the coyotes from helicopters
Mm-hmm.
and trying, so that the coyotes wouldn't be killing their sheep and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we get rid of all the coyotes, and then we had this massive population explosion of jackrabbits. Now there's no jackrabbits, and there's coyotes all over the place.
Yeah, that's how they work. Then they'll starve themselves out. You know, they'll take their area and they'll just avoid it. Game animals like pheasant, especially like turkey chicks, they just gorge on those things. They'll ruin it. They'll in 2 years a good population of coyote will ruin the turkey population.
Yeah.
And don't ever get me started on the jackalopes. They're terrible here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the jackalopes, because I know 2 facts about jackalopes. So
I know. I mean, you run over them, you get those pronghorn jackalopes.
shut up.
They'll puncture your tires.
Knock it off. Knock it off. There's going to be people believing that shit.
No, wait. Here. Carpenter.
You guys, for anybody listening, rabbits don't grow horns.
No,
They
here.
do. Jackalopes do.
They don't.
No. It's a disease that gives them growths on their head and face. It's a papilloma virus, I think. That they get. I've seen them. I've seen at least half a dozen. They get these crazy growths on their head, and they look kind of like antlers. They get them on their face too.
Oh,
Look it up.
Yeah, there might be that, but like the ones I always saw were out in the bars out in Nebraska. They got them, all the bars got one, and they're just small antlers. They taxidermists put them on a rabbit head.
I got a little forky rack one time, and I did a jackalope mount just for the fun of it. I had a jackrabbit, and I just thought,
I'm just amazed at the people that'll just like, oh wow, that's really cool. It's like, come on, guys.
That's not real.
No, but it's funny.
They're real.
It was out in Nebraska where they did the twirly.
The fake ones are the ones where they put deer horns on them. Those are fake.
Those are fake.
Yep.
But the myth comes kind of from that whole syphilis. That's not syphilis. What is papilloma? Something like that.
But spurs growths on their head, you're saying?
Yeah, it actually kills them eventually. But I had one in my backyard no more than 2 months ago. It's gross. You look at them, it's like fucking tumors growing all out of them. They come out of their head and out of their face and stuff.
Oh wow!
Oh, if you've never seen it, well, look it up.
Yeah, we don't see many. There ain't many jackrabbits. When I was a kid, we used to get them rabbit hunting a lot.
Cottontails, so
man, it's called crypto. They're cryptids. Everybody thinks jackalopes don't exist. You'll see them at the Smithsonian even.
Oh, they might. I've never seen. Everyone I've ever seen's been a mounted one that someone did that with, like with a spike. Take a spike buck and they mount the antlers on the rabbit.
I've done.
And it's a jackrabbit. They use jackrabbits because cottontails are too small for it.
Yeah,
I've seen those. Those are fake.
I did do a cottontail with little button buck one time. Cool. I used to do taxidermy.
No, but the real thing, they're actually in the jackrabbit family. and they actually do grow. They do grow. Well, looks just like little small pronghorn tips.
No, I've never seen
coming
that.
out of the head.
Really?
I'm telling you, man. You think I'm
I'd like
making
to.
this up?
I
I'd
don't.
like to hunt pronghorn. I'd like to hunt those
Wyoming.
pronghorn.
Wyoming. Go up to Wyoming. Lots of them
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, guys out
Well-
there said they're like the carp of the deer family. They just taste like shit.
No,
Well,
they're good.
They eat
I don't know.
sagebrush all day
They're
long.
not
What do you think they're
excellent.
going to taste like?
You know, you guys, it could be where I was at too, because like here in Minnesota, you get down here in the southern end, probably a little north of the cities on down where you get into the farmland, the deer tastes good. But if you ever
Yeah.
get a deer from northern Minnesota, you'll cook a steak and your whole house smells like an open bottle of Pine Sol, and then
Well,
the
and
meat
that's-
tastes like it too.
Right, and that's like when you hunt something out in Wyoming, they taste like sagebrush.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do here. Yep. If you hunt out in the desert over here, it depends whether you're hunting in the high country or out in the desert. And the desert ones, they do taste like sagebrush. Yeah, I actually like the taste. You want to really enhance it, that sagebrush taste. Drink Full Throttle with it. I'm not kidding.
I've got
Full
cornfields surrounding my deer stand, so all my deer are corn fed, and I feed them apples too.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about Full Throttle energy drinks, but they are so good with desert sagebrush tasting. Yeah, they're really good.
I think it sounds like good stew meat to me.
I might even
You know.
marinate it in Full Throttle. I'm gonna marinate my freaking deer meat in Full Throttle if I get me a desert deer.
Well, you know,
What's
that's
up,
what they
Jen? Welcome in.
that's what they
Hey,
do out in
Jen.
Nebraska, where my old man is.
Jen
Deer
Butcher.
is everything, all their, because they shoot antelope out there a lot, and all their antelope is all like slow cooked in these recipes that you have to put them in these brines for 2 days before you cook them, or 3 days, or
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're right.
yeah.
Pineapple.
They have all kinds of different shit, from like vinegar based brines to like milk based.
No.
I mean, all kinds of.
Pineapple? No. Look, V8 juice and pineapple juice mixed together. Marinate your antelope in there. It'll tenderize it. I'm telling you, it'll break it down. It'll be so awesome. Pineapple juice, tomato.
V8 juice. Oh, yeah, you get the acid in there that helps.
That's what it is.
Yep. Yeah,
And
we do a lot of marinades with lemons in it.
And then I gotta go to a thing. The 18th. What is it? When you a celebration of life when someone dies, but you don't have a funeral or whatever. I have to go to a celebration of life and it's for my favorite nephew and niece that I run around with on 4-wheelers all the time. So I kind of can't miss that. I can't
Right.
So I don't get to go this weekend, but now next weekend I'll start pretty.
I'm not going to try and be a bummer here, but my wife's funeral was a celebration of life, and there was no casket. She was just sitting in a box over there with all the flowers around her.
That's what this
And
was going to be. He's in his urn.
Yeah, and it was just, we served pictures of beer and food, and we all talked and had a good time. It was fun.
Actually, his urn is in a Navy box in North Chatfield, in a Navy cemetery.
Okay.
Military. It's not just Navy, military, but he's
Right.
in the Navy section. He's in his urn's in there, and they're just going to have a picture of him. And then it's like his wife told everybody, because she had a real hard time dealing with it, because he went like 2 weeks, and she had one son, and so Dad and him were really close. And that's my nephew that I've run around with on the 4-wheelers. Dad and him were really close, and it really messed that. It was the first grandparent or whatever that died on their side of the kids, and so you know how that is when it's the first.
That's tough.
Right.
So they just came out of it like Memorial Weekend, and hell, he died beginning of summer.
Well, can I ask what happened?
He had he went through some cancer in his chest or whatever,
Oh, gee.
and he got cured of that, and then he went in and got the shot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, And like a week later, he started coughing, and he went in 2 weeks later. After this was after the second shot, he went in two weeks later, and he had full on stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh God!
And like 3 months before that, I think it might have been less than 3 months. 3 months before that was when he had a full body scan, and he was cancer free, and it was already up to stage 4.
Oh Lord God!
That's
You know, you
insane.
guys, I've known 11 or 12 people. 11, I think it's 11. We're at the count at now. That I've known them all personally. Like 3 or 4 of them I knew personally, but the other ones I heard about, and every single one of them have one thing in common.
They get the
Yeah.
shot.
Yep.
Yep. I know 3.
Hey, Nightingale,
Well,
welcome in.
My son-in-law.
the one gal was like 45 years old, and her
Jen
husband
says hi. Hi, Jen.
took care
My
of all the old material at my brother and sister-in-law, or my brother-in-law and sister's company down in Iowa. They take care of all their debris, and they mow the lawns. And she went and got it, and she was like, she said right after the first one, she started feeling tired and stuff, and was just found herself sleeping a lot. Well, then she went and got the second one. Then she started having these really bad dizzy spells, and they were that day. They actually had went into the doctor for whatever, run some tests on them.
Right.
And they come home and stopped at the grocery store, and she walked up, and he was holding the groceries, so he gave her the keys to unlock the door. And she got up to the top step and went to unlock the door and just fell forward into the door, and not inside the house because she didn't even get the key in the lock. Just fell forward. He said she was dead before she hit the ground.
Oh my!
Yeah,
Damn.
she didn't have any prior history of any problem, and it was like a swollen, enlarged heart or something to do with her heart.
Was this a jab issue too?
Yeah, like
Oh,
the week, maybe not even a week after the second shot. And she said the
And
first one, she was
from the first
complaining
one.
about the first one, just made her sleep a lot, made her tired. Didn't really make her feel that bad, a little bit, but not real bad, but just tired all the time. Well, then she went by her, I think, what do you go, a week? I don't know anything about it. So whatever you go, a week or whatever, 10 days in between, then you get your second one. Well, then she got her second one, and now she knew there was a problem.
see, my mom got it, and she said the first shot made her itch like crazy. The second shot, she didn't. But she can't stand up. She hasn't been able to recover.
Yeah, I heard that. There's like 4 or 5 things. There's like 4 or 5 things that's pretty noticeable for her.
And she's got edema, so she's got to have her legs wrapped up. This is my mother.
Oh, speaking of this, you guys, did you hear VAERS came out right now, and VAERS said that we're losing 70 people a year in this country alone to the jab, or a day in this country alone. Okay, and there was another guy right after that. I don't know how to post links, or I don't know how to keep track of that. The guy that came on like 2 things after that, it was running at night. He said he was talking about that VAERS being 70 a day now in the United States. And they were directly relating it to the shot. And he said he sees the numbers soon going up to hundreds a day. And not long after that, it'll go up to 1,000. And that's that shitstorm I'm telling you guys all about. There's a shitstorm heading right for us, and none of us are ready for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about when that happened. There's a shitstorm heading for it.
That's why they're pushing so hard for everybody to get the shot now, because they know they're not going to get anybody to take that shot when people start really
Yeah. One guy claims that they'll blame it on us that aren't right away when it first starts, but then it won't be long, and then everybody will be standing there, and the only ones that'll be dying are the ones that took the shot, and the ones that didn't will be standing there going, "But I'm not dying."
You got it, brother.
And then they'll realize.
You are right.
Yep.
Hi, Nightingale. Nightingale, I want to say hi to Nightingale.
Hi, Nightingale. I was waiting too, so.
She's such a nice person.
He said hi to us, and I don't even know if I know her, but.
See, that's why I don't come up here. I can't do the chat and hear too.
Well, I can see the chat, but I can't see you guys. That's why I got the tripod, so I don't have to worry what I look like.
My problem.
Devil booger.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me. I need a mirror so I can look.
I think the long-term effects and then are going to be devastating of the people that have gotten the second one.
I agree.
And the people that got the third one, it's not going to be good.
No.
There's a lot of people getting the third one. I
Well,
mean,
you know, and then this other guy claims that they're, you know, they said for a while there that 70% had the first shot and 50% were fully vaccinated. Then they said that 50% had the first shot and 30% were fully vaccinated. Now they're saying that just 30% had the first shot and they're not sure how many have got the second one, and they're skewing the numbers. They want everybody to think way more people got it than did, and it came to a grinding halt. I don't know. Shortly after it started, it just come to a grinding. People still get it, but hardly anybody anymore. Now, the guy said the hospitals are filling up with it. The warehouses are filling up with it. It's going out of date. They're having to send it back because nobody's taking it.
You know what's cool is we can talk about this here. Take a personal story about somebody you know who was sick or died from COVID, and post that on Facebook and see how long it stays up there.
Hey, did you? That's another thing. Of you, Emerald was saying, have you seen anything? And that bear things I saw that I thought was interesting. That right now at 70 a day, they figure it's going to go up to hundreds, and shortly after that, it's going to go in thousands. I thought that was pretty interesting. But the other one was some leftist organization. I seen it, but I didn't pay any attention to where it was at. They put up a thing to scare everybody. You know, send us your stories about your loved ones that died of COVID, right? That's what their deal was to get everybody scared of COVID.
Oh, and the died of COVID, not the shot.
Yeah, and then but the place just got swarmed with people that were dying on the shot. I mean, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Well,
you know, they're back.
Why can't we do the same thing and just say, why don't you post your stories of people who died from the jab?
Well,
how long would that last?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. This was just, you know, like Trump said, everything, you know, left does turns to shit, you know.
There is something that's being completely ignored, and that is all the people that died from deep lung pneumonia, bacterial infections from wearing masks.
Yeah, they don't talk about that, do they?
That happened during the Spanish flu when people had to sew their own masks. They made their own masks. Mm-hmm. You couldn't buy them. And they would carry the mask around in their pocket, and then when they had to put it on, they would put it on. And they wound up getting deep lung bacterial infections and freaking died from it and were counted as casualties of the Spanish flu.
Did you know that in 2000, I think it's 2012 or 15, there was a big paper written on that they figured more people died from deep lung bacterial pneumonia than actually died from the Spanish flu?
Exactly.
Okay.
You saw
Guess who was one of the authors of that paper, you guys?
Who?
Fauci.
Yep.
Let that sink in. They've known since 2000 or since in the 1920s when they first did that study we're talking about right now, Ghost. They've known about these masks since then. Like right now, 100 years ago, they knew about them. That you couldn't have a mask on your face.
Yes.
Like I said, I was a paramedic, and we had to wear them. They gave warnings. Don't wear them for more than 20 minutes at a time.
We had the same thing. We had to we go 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. When we had to wear them for work, like when we were running cement saws and stuff, we had to wear the N95.
Yep.
It was 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. 20 minutes on, because they said that in 15 minutes it can drop your oxygen levels in your body up to 30%.
I'm a painter. I know this shit. I know it. I've got a lot of time in a spray booth wearing a freaking mask, and
people don't realize they're
I had N95 pre-filters in my mask in my respirator.
Yeah. That's what we wore was respirators.
Yeah.
You know the big. It looks like a gas mask, but it's got two bulbs on each side.
Yep.
And then you every time you go out after 20 minutes, you'd spin both cartridges out, throw them away, and twist two new ones, and then put the caps back on and go back to work.
I had to constantly replace my N95 pre-filters.
Yeah, I remember we used to get them, and they were like in garbage bags, big, really heavy duty, but they were like garbage, like fucking leaf and lawn bags, and you'd get a bag of them, and they'd come. That's how they came. And
because the N95
on the job.
The N95 pre-filters would clog up, you know, probably twice a day, as much paint as I was throwing down, you know, and I'd have to change them out twice a day, or I wouldn't be able to breathe at all. And then you've got a charcoal canister on each side of your face, or maybe just single, and so that was to keep the charcoal canister from getting plugged up. That's why you use the pre-filters.
But you're talking more about a respirator than an N95, though.
Yeah,
No, it is N95. It's N95.
I'm not going to argue with you.
No,
okay.
But there is a difference.
Okay,
they make an N95 too. That's a mask.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I
But
know what
They
you're talking about.
make the N95 mask, and these are N95 pre-filters for a respirator, is what you're talking about.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing, believe it or not.
Right.
But see, if we wore the masks, then everybody had to be clean shaven.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, of course, in the trades, you guys, nobody, you know, everybody's all got full face beards, so they strap these masks on and they crank them down tight. And then they use the ones with the filters, the big round filter. And I've seen them both, one on each side and one big one in the middle.
Actually, I got away with using something called barrier cream on my face, so I didn't have to shave.
Oh,
and so it would get a seal.
Yeah, they got to be sealed.
All you're trying to do is make sure the mask will seal to your face.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine quit his job over the fact that they told him to shave because they started forcing him to wear masks. So he quit his job.
Yeah.
Actually, he retired. Took early retirement.
I pretty much could get by with a goatee most of the time and just use barrier cream because it's got a seal to the sides of your face mostly.
Kind of like a Vaseline almost. It just seals to your face.
Yeah, I use Vaseline too.
Yeah,
I did that too.
Same difference, yeah.
And I
want that air to come through because you're wearing like a plastic mask, basically.
I had a lot of days that I was dealing with heat rash when I was using Vaseline. Yes,
I don't doubt that. And I do a lot of painting, ceilings and stuff like that, and it's sprayers and.
That's what I am. I'm a painter. I'm a painter.
A lot of them guys that I worked with would have to come out of the painting end of it and go. Would you do some part of it? You didn't have to wear a mask because their face would break out with bacterial infection.
Exactly.
So they'd lose. All of a sudden, they'd be there painting one day, and then they'd be gone for like 10 days. And after a while, I was like, where the hell did them guys go? They just put them on a different job. They're like, no, they got bacterial infection in their face or nose or mouth or something.
Happened to me.
They had to quit for a while until it cleared up, and then they could come back.
I could usually do about half an hour when I'm doing ceilings, and it's latex paint, so this isn't quite as bad. The VOCs are a lot lower.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that and it's coming down on you, and that moisture builds up inside your mask and your respirator, it's like half an hour, 45 minutes. It's like, okay, stop for a little bit, take it off, wipe your face, clean the mask out, start over again.
Oh, I've done that for days and weeks on end cutting concrete.
I worked with some seriously heavy duty paints. You know, like two-part epoxies.
Yeah, I've seen those.
That's different.
Carboline. I don't know if you know what that is. I used to freaking bathe almost. Literally bathe. The only way I could get the paint off of me was with methyl ethyl ketone, MEK.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I get it in the, all in the cuticles of my fingernails and in my, it'd go up my nose. I'd be blowing colored snot rockets and stuff, man.
Did you see the guy on the internet, the painter, that showed what he wore? He wore all that, but he wore even the white pullover painting suit and the head, and he had to have his body, hands, and everything because of whatever paints he uses. He had to have it completely covered.
I do that too.
He went out to his car to do whatever, and he flipped the video on. He said, for anybody out there that thinks these masks do anything, I'm going to show you right now. And he had like a face wrap on with a mask over that, because that's what it required. and then a bodysuit. Literally every inch of him was covered. When he took it off around his nose, you could see the paint that built up around his nose. And
I'm not shitting you, man. I did that. Exactly that.
I brought that up in Aaron's chat one time. I brought that up because I wear a respirator. I said, it fits tight, it fits good, everything. And I said, I still get my nose hairs and around my nose, right here and here. You'll see a little bit of pain. And that's with the respirator. COVID's going to leak around your stupid bandana. But he said his claim was that, well, it's not fit properly. I said, it doesn't matter. It's still going to leak around a little bit. No, well, maybe he's right.
Maybe if you put it on and you stood still and didn't move around, you might be able to get by with that. But you start working, banging the mask, bumping your face, twisting your head, moving around. It opens here and there a little, and that shit gets in. There's no way you can stop it.
I need to do a video. I just got to do a video. I'm going to paint some black paint, and I'm going to prove to everybody that your fucking N95 mask is absolute 100% bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? I've talked to so many people, Ghost. I think you'd be better off putting that time to try to earn some money with it, because you're wasting your fucking time with some of these people.
I know I am.
I mean, you look right to them, and you like, oh, you know how many people I've told them that you guys, because they're like, even now, they're saying, oh, I know this person that got COVID. I was like, how do you know they got COVID? Well, they got tested. They tested positive. Well, the COVID test, August 4th, the CDC admitted the COVID test was useless at determining infection.
And then what I'll do is I'll blow
go along, and it drives me.
They're still using it.
Crazy. Yeah, it makes me crazy. It's like, you guys, they tell you.
I should blow some blue snot rockets with some dark blue paint and show you or red or something that's really brilliant.
We believe you. We believe you, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, the problem, Ghost, right now, everybody believes you. That's going to believe you. There's the ones. It wouldn't matter if you went right. If you took them, if they were standing right there and watched you do this and watched you go through your work from a safe distance, upwind or whatever, they still won't believe you. They just won't believe you.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I understand.
I don't know at this point. I don't know if it's even worth the time. That's a really good idea, but I don't know that it's even worth. I don't even know if you should bother.
It's probably not.
Everybody who is going to wake up is woke.
We're getting there, right? We're getting really close.
It's like all the people that weren't preparing for shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
If you're not awake, you're woke.
Don't start. Don't worry about it. If you didn't believe up until this point that shit was gonna hit the fan, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucked. Say goodbye. Just say goodbye to all your friends and everything, because you're fucked. People around here in my community, especially me, have been prepping since I was 10 years old.
Well, most people around here, it's like, having a place to go and gas, generators, LP tanks, heat, all that kind of stuff. I got that through my hobbies. But that, most people don't have access. It's the ones around here. That's how people live, That's right. Everybody here has a generator with a piece of cord so they can plug their house in. Because that's Minnesota and it gets really cold and we get ice storms.
But I mean, a lot of us, because of our age and everything, we've been trying to be prepared because it was a way of life for us when we were young.
Oh, sure.
I'm not. I almost sound like I'm ranting or something. I don't want to be, but a lot of people have been preparing because they see all the craziness going on through the years, and if you don't listen to your elders, it's your own damn fault.
Well, you guys in the trades, everybody asked me how I raised up the rink so fast and got to be a foreman and then all this kind of crap, right? And you know what? All I did is I was smart enough to know. I found the old guys on the job that knew what they were doing, and I just grabbed a hold of their belt loop and hung on, followed them around and picked their brain and listened to them. Right. These other guys were always off going to change the world. They're going to do it different. And these other guys had already done all that. And they knew why you don't bother with that because, that's stupid. So then I learned the way you do it because I figured the old guys, if you do it long enough, they're going to naturally, you're going to do it the easiest way, right?
That's why I like talking with you because you and I have that in common.
Yeah, I learned. I was smart enough to learn from the older guys. I really was.
Me too.
Yeah, I listened to them. Had this one guy, Hammer and Hank Betcher. Oh, almost said it. Hammer and Hank, we called him. And he was just this mean son of a bitch. And I bet he was 6'8", 310 pounds. Guy was just a mountain.
But
And everybody just hated this guy.
but
And I was
here,
guy come on his crew as his laborer, and me and him got along really good. I just did whatever. And it was probably 2 years later when we went from being a boss to being kind of friends, you know. We stopped and we were drinking beer one night, and he's like, Carpenter, how come all the rest of them are hate me and are scared to death of me? But he says, you're such a good kid. You're always around. And I told him, I looked right at him. I said, Hank, to tell you the truth, I was scared to death of you. I was afraid not to move. Well, then it didn't take me long once I got working with him to realize this guy was smart. I mean, really smart. So then I started listening to him and paying attention to what he said. And then I bumped into 2 other ones. And the last one was Rusty. And he was this guy that had this, he talked like a hillbilly, kind of stupid sounding, you know. And we'd go in these meetings with these like people with 7-year degrees in architectural, engineering degrees. Because we're building giant hospitals and shit, you know. We'd go in these, and he'd have this just goofy ass hillbilly tone of voice, and he'd just tell them, that's stupid, that ain't gonna work, you know. And then they try it and it wouldn't work, and they go back to the way he did it. Yeah, he was one of the smartest guys I ever met on a job site. And you'd walk up to him, you'd swear the guy, was the hillbilly kind of guy, just sharp as a tack.
Same thing in my business. In the sign business, the state where I live, they decided, well, you have to get everything signed off by an architect, and you have to pay to get blueprints and all this for structural signs.
Yeah,
and so it all came down to, they would do the sign, they get the permit, the whole thing, and then when they go and install the sign, you don't do anything according to the blueprints. You have to just know that what your architect designed, you cannot do it to the blueprints.
No, I think you guys might have heard this story. We were running an elevator shaft up, and we were up like 4 floors. And finally, the architects, the engineers, not the architects, the engineers come up and they're watching us. Well, if you ever done that, in between each floor, there's these number 8 bars. That's 2-inch rebar, bent rebar that hook down into the concrete below the next pour, and then it sticks up into the next one. Well, they had them stacked in there so tight they were using 3/4 inch aggregate, and there was 1/2 inch between the rebar. So 3/4, you're trying to fit 3/4, peg into a 1/2 inch hole. It don't work. So I took every other bar, because it was actually about 18 to 24 inches. Some were 24, some were 18. I took every other bar out and just laid them there. And then I'd pour up to where they were supposed to be. I'd drop that bar. I'd drop that bar. When they come up there and we were pouring, they seen these bar laying there, and they're like, "What are them bar for?" I mean, they're great big ones. You guys, it takes like 3 guys to handle them. They're 2-inch rebar with bends in them. So I told them 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch aggregate and a 1/2 inch hole. I said I can't get the concrete to pour down through, so I've just been taking every other rebar out and laying it up on top, and then when we pour up to that level, we quick set them in, tie them, and then keep on pouring and pour up to grade.
Wizard,
you guys, that's only half the story. Wait a minute, they shut the fucking job down. Just like we're talking, I think it was $80 million worth of concrete was the job I was on.
Yeah.
So they shut the job down. Oh my God, they had to redo it. So 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, I had to stop what I was doing, go back down, find a place to work in the other places. And then finally, 2.5, 3 weeks later, the architectural drawings came back through and the engineer came through with the explanation. And you know what their idea to do was?
What?
Take every other bar out until you pour it up to that level, put the bar back in and pour it up to grade. I fucking shook my head. I don't know how much that cost. Almost like 3 weeks going back to the engineers. I don't know what that cost. for something. Then they come back and told me to do exactly what I was doing.
Jeez.
It's like you fucking people are stupid.
That's how it happens.
All I do is build sheds.
Wizard cracked me up. Wizard's sitting there going, he says, shit, I just pour a slab, I pour it part of the way, and then I pour a bunch of freaking old pallet nails in there for reinforcement and then finish it off, you know? And I'm like, really? I've never heard of somebody doing that, you know? I'm out there laying freaking, you know, grid wire and bar and everything else. And you know what? He's right. Wizard is right.
Well, here they call it fiber mesh here.
I think a lot of the fiber mesh is probably replacing most of that. And wire mesh,
right?
In a lot of places, anyway.
I think that's just some kind of fiber it's put in the mesh.
Wizard throws old pallet nails, and you know what? I did the science on it, and sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Because some of the old ways you did stuff were the smart ways.
Right.
Yep.
I've done a few pours where we had to go grab rocks and stuff and shove them in the concrete because we ran short of concrete.
Oh, I hate that.
I do.
Well, you throw nails, you can turn 3 inches into 10,000-pound floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if pallet nails would be the right answer, but I like the idea. It's creative.
I think it is
pallet nails.
You just have to have so many of them.
Think about it, dear Butch. Listen, you got all these nails, you know, pointed all different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's reinforcing it, you know, from multiple directions.
I get it. No, I get it. It's just kind of
You still got your rebar, but you throw in those nails.
You got the rebar too. I mean,
yeah.
It's pallet nails are too short, I think, might be the issue. But it's still time to put together.
Well, most of mine are 2 and 3 inch nails.
Yeah,
pallet,
right.
With
The
rig
key would be to spread them out evenly, like
eights and 16s.
Yeah, spread them out evenly.
You just cover. What I was doing was we get the rebar down, we cover just the rebar, and then throw nails, and then finish pour.
Yep.
If you got rebar in there, you don't need the nails.
Yeah.
It's called thinking outside of the box.
Well, it's a good way to get rid of pallet nails too.
Yep.
And plus, he has no zoning laws, so he doesn't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
Be a bitch if you ever had to take it up, though.
Oh yeah, I feel sorry for somebody
turn
to
it to dust. You know, you'd be on there with a jackhammer just turning the crap to dust to get it out.
It impacts your powers out.
Take into consideration that Dear Butch, he's trying to do things to code. So roofing nails or pallet nails, whatever, that ain't gonna pass code.
Yeah, coding is pretty strict here.
Depends on. I work in 2 different areas. I work in a very strict code area, and I work in an area where there's only land use permits and electrical inspections. That's it.
But I'll tell you, the old houses that didn't have any building codes, they're built way better than the ones with the building codes.
Colonel Shaw in the house.
I won't totally agree with that. I won't totally totally disagree with that either. So.
No, that's not a cut and dry thing. What I'm saying,
it's so dependent on the specific builder.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen some really shitty put together buildings.
So
fortresses that were built 100 years ago.
Well, I got a floor I got to pour where I'm gonna be moving in 2-ton logs.
Yeah, you want? 2-ton. Well, I mean,
I don't want it to crack.
A 2-ton log isn't terribly heavy.
Dear Butch,
you have to pour like 5. I think on that it come out on that when it would come out to like 5 or 6 inches. I think you get by with 4.5, 5 inches thick.
Well,
you gotta have 3.5.
Land. He's in no man's land. That's the thing.
I figure about 4 inches.
Yeah.
If you had a good solid 4 to 5, you'd probably be fine. 2-ton.
It's got a nice solid. It's already got poured base underneath that as well. So
okay. Yeah, the That's the main thing with concrete is having a good base underneath.
I told Wizard to use mesh, and he's like, "Oh man, I'll just use I'll just use pallet nails."
No.
I am a mesh guy. Okay, I'm gonna try and get it as close to code as I can.
Yeah, we
Because I know what code is. I'm a general contractor. Okay, I know what code is, and I'm gonna try and do it as close to code as I can, in case later on, because I've seen houses that weren't built to code, and then they decided they want to establish a code in an area where you live, and then you're fucked because you can't sell your house.
Yeah, you got to
you'd
retrofit
still
it.
be grandfathered in anyway.
No, not where I live.
Retrofit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it depends on it. I think it depends a lot on whether it's like structural.
If you built
structural,
it
they're usually make it
retrofit.
You were saying
grandfathering in doesn't mean anything anymore. Not where I live.
Yeah, usually structural, like any part of the structural, that like the load-bearing walls, shit like that. If they change the code, a lot of times you can't sell it until you can. As long as you live there, you're okay, but you can't sell it. I've
never had that issue. I've bought houses with no insulation and 2x4 walls, and that's not up to code.
What it actually boils down to is it'll have no resale value. You can sell it, but it won't have any resale value.
It won't have the same resale value.
Right, exactly.
As it was new constructed, but you're selling an old house, so you sell it for what it is.
Yeah,
well, I learned about this from a guy in California.
Oh, fuck that! Fuck California.
Well, just hold on a second now, damn it.
I think I heard rumble strips.
He lives south of Santa Cruz, up on the New Mexico.
On the first.
He lived up south of Santa Cruz, right next to where the fault line was up there, and he got earthquakes on there on a regular. But his floor in his garage, his house, his house foundations were screwed, but the floor in his garage never failed. And what he did, he told me, he says, I just loaded it up with a bunch of damn old nails.
I've never seen anything on nails, but I know personally the problem with wire mesh is people put it in unless you stake it up, it just gets pushed down to the bottom. If you stake it up, it's fine. But a lot of the times, that's why you could sit there and pull it up, but and I've taken apart a lot of concrete that had wire mesh in it, and it's a tough bitch to take apart.
Yeah,
rebar is still better as far as
I think,
but it's more time consuming, more expensive.
On the rebar, I'll still put those clips on. I'll make the clips myself out of hangers.
Yeah,
and turn on and
you can buy them; they're cheap enough.
Okay, now here they built high schools and stuff to be earthquake resilient, and one of the things they did was they run something similar to conduit with greased cables that go through the
post tension. Yep, post tension.
Yeah. Yep. And what that does is that makes it so they can sway and not collapse.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pre-stress.
Yeah.
They pour the cables in, and then they've got a stretcher, this big machine. They hook on the end of the cable, and they hit it, and it pulls the cable ultra tight.
All pre-stressed concrete.
Yeah. That idea came from Japan, and I met the architect who designed one of the high schools here, a Catholic high school. He designed it, and he told me about it. And he said, we were the first earthquake resilient high school in the entire country. We were one of the first. And it was built back in the 1960s. And he got the idea from Japanese. The Japanese, Japan always has earthquakes.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for the longest time. And they have, I can't remember what they're called, like tensioner cables or something.
Yeah, all your parking ramps are poured like that just because of that,
Yeah.
because of the vehicles
Well,
driving up them and they vibrate.
they make the panels in a factory, basically, just spec, and then they ship them out.
Yeah.
That's how they're made. They're made in a factory. They tension the cable, and then they pour the concrete, and then they release it, and it draws the cable back together, so it pulls it tight.
So it
Yep.
was an American who designed the modular construction, like what you're talking about. It was an American, and he couldn't sell the idea to Americans, so he took his idea to Japan, and Japan is like, "Wow, this is a great idea." So they started building these pods, and they stacked the pods, and they were building hotels, sky rises, everything with them, and they had the cables that gave the building flex, so that it wasn't a rigid building, so it would withstand any kind of geological stuff.
Yeah, that's why they use that on parking garages, parking ramps, because they vibrate on cars.
Kind of the interesting thing about that is, like, in earthquake zones, they actually have their foundations on, like, I don't know how you describe it. I remember watching a show on it. It's they're almost a floating foundation.
Yeah, on these big, huge, giant springs.
Kind of like that, yeah. Where they will actually, the foundation will actually float a little bit rather than, because if it's rigid, when the ground shakes, the building shakes. But if it floats a little bit, the building doesn't shake quite as much.
Yeah. So it flexes.
Yeah, I did a little bit of architecture in my day.
So Colonel Shaw's in the house. Hello, Colonel Shaw.
Hey,
and
Colonel.
then Apex don't have power.
Yeah,
I saw that.
His storm went through and knocked out his power.
Apex,
that's where that little generator and cord would come in so handy.
Apex, I got a big generator. Come on over and borrow it.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those diesel generators, like what the road crews use.
Oh, really? Why?
Because you could power a whole freaking city block with it.
Yeah,
Colonel.
All you need is a portable generator and a cord, and it'll run your refrigerator, because that don't take it takes a lot, but not like your air conditioner or anything. You just plug your bulb into it, and at least you can have light. And
you could rig up a diesel generator to run on biofuel.
Yeah, Colonel.
Right.
I'm not having any problems with my connections tonight. Anybody else?
No.
Well, the only thing I've got no bad connection, but I think it's Emerald. You get a little bit of tweaky sound on your mic. It's the only thing I hear. I don't know if it's me or.
No, it's
a little chirp.
That's Buffalo. That's Buffalo Bill.
Is that okay? I can't see anyone, so.
Sorry, my phone is a POS.
Well,
whatever.
Well, I'm not complaining. I've had no issues other than your normal digitizing thing. But
that's why I'm calling myself a knuckle dragging patriot.
Cheers, man. Hey, we need to come on.
Oh, fire in the bowl.
Fire in the bowl. Come on, let's go.
And then we actually have something. Oh shit!
I don't have to work tomorrow. Yay!
I actually have something in the bowl to fire. So
I don't have any. I have no hookup anymore.
Oh, and I got to put rear brakes in my 4-wheeler, and they're really expensive. You want to know how much?
$17.40
for the pair for the back.
I was gonna guess 17, so I was close.
Yeah, $9. I looked at it. I thought, wow, fuck, they might as well just send to me for free for that.
And if you have them installed, it's $150.
Yeah, they're ridiculously easy. You don't even have to do all that bleeding crap with them.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty easy. There's just one brake. There's one rotor brake on this 2000 Kodiak, and the brakes I'm taking off and putting new ones on are original with the machine.
Oh wow! So you just got to undo the cable and loosen the brake, then put the
Pull
new
the
cable
caliper.
on.
There's 2 bolts like a regular caliper on a car. You pull it off, and they said you don't have to push it very far, so you don't have to like break lines or nothing like that. You know how like when you do a car, you take the cap off, and then when you collapse that rotor, it'll push that fluid back out. So then you put it all back together, and then you got air in there, and you got to bleed them. You don't have to do that with these.
Cool.
Yeah, so I guess it's pretty easy to do.
I freaked Canoes out when I went and took him home. When I took him home, when he came out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the way there. My brakes were it was getting noisy, bad kind of thing, and I was like, okay, so I says, okay, you got a jack here, Canoes? He goes, yeah, I got a jack. I was like, good. We stopped and we got brakes, pads, right? Because I knew my pads was going. And it's like, you're gonna do them yourself? I was like, oh yeah. You got a jack, right? He goes, yeah. It's like, so the next morning, we got there and crashed out for the night. Then turn around the next morning, I get up, I go out there, jack up my car, pull the tire off, pull the caliper, take the bolts out for the wheel
Caliper.
for the caliper, yeah.
Yeah.
And turn around, I just used a pair of a set of pipe wrench, and just recompress those the fluid back up into the master cylinder. I didn't even undo the line. I took out the old shoes, put the new shoes in, put it right back on, put the bolts on, slammed back together, and on the way I was.
Nice.
And he's like,
they're not that hard. Disc brakes are pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, they are.
Canoes is like, that was it. I was like, yeah, that's all there is to it, man.
Brakes are about the only thing I can do.
Well, there's nothing you do on cars anymore.
Alternators, stuff like that, I can do a little bit. You know what though? That Blazers alternator.
No, Apex just said Newsom is gonna stay in office.
It's
It's fraud.
Yeah.
It's fraud.
But I can't hear you.
I think it's fraud.
Well, it has to be. What they say, that one county, that they said 70% of the people that were coming in to vote said they'd already been voted. That one polling, that one station, people were throwing a fit when they got there. They'd go in to vote and they'd say, "You already voted," and they're like, "No, I didn't. I'm here right now."
That's why I said earlier, wait till you see what happens to California over this.
Yeah. They just couldn't help themselves. God, I'm so sick of this shit. I could puke.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's just the lies and the criminality of it all. It just drives me nuts.
The sheer fraud in your face, fraud. It's not even like.
Well, they don't even try to hide it anymore.
No, they're not even trying to hide it any longer.
No.
All right, we're back. I said it, and then all of a sudden I got no response because I couldn't hear you guys. But I can't believe that California is that stupid. As bad as that state is.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not. Well, no.
They did the same. They did the exact same thing they did in the other one. It's all ballots, mail-in ballots, stuff like that. All that. It's the same thing. They did the same thing in Newsom's election this time.
I think the problem is, I think the problem is, well, I'm in Minnesota, and the problem is the bulk of the population is in several metro areas, and they outweigh the rest of the state.
Butch, we're talking. This is all frauded.
Yeah, they said if in Minnesota it's come out, if you voted, which you did, so I know you did because I vote here. You voted with a machine. If you voted with a machine, your vote, that race, whatever was on that ticket that you voted with, was decided before it was ever put in the machine.
It could be.
No, it's proven. It's not. It's not could be. It's proven. Mike Lindell proved it. See,
Yeah,
they
I
overlook that.
missed
They
that
don't.
whole thing.
They just say he's this dumb fucker from Minnesota that makes pillows and doesn't know nothing. No, two things Mike Lindell proved that stuck out in my head, and I know nothing about computers. Number one was that the computers can be hooked to the internet.
Yeah.
Is he
And
from
number two
Minnesota
was
or
that when they
Wisconsin?
were hooked to the internet, they could be hacked, and they were.
Yeah.
So he proved both of them that they say if you think the damage was done to this country and the president, more damage was done down ballot.
Did you see
All the
in
way
the
to your local
California
races.
in the California race where Republicans were walking in and they'd say, "Well, no, you already voted, so you can't vote again."
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I never voted.
Yeah, it was going on really bad.
People had already cast a vote for them.
Yeah.
I saw that on the news the other day. It's like
Even
today or
even the
yesterday.
liberal, even the mainstream media's, they can't deny it.
Right.
What were you saying, Bill?
Isn't it?
What
And
were you saying, Bill?
they impeached
Hold on.
Trump for Russian collusion.
What were you saying, Bill?
I don't know.
No, go ahead, Bill. Sorry. Bill.
I'm just listening.
All right. Sometimes when I start talking, I can't stop. I can't help it.
Yeah, when I have a thought, I sometimes I gotta say it right away or I forget it.
Well, then you need to interrupt me.
Yeah, sometimes that's kind of hard.
I know. I apologize.
You don't need to apologize. It's
No,
just
don't bother me.
No, that's just.
Right.
I really have a good time with you guys, but this is kind of why I do my own thing, is because I can just sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk.
we're Americans.
And
You're part of it.
America.
You're part of it. Carpenter's part of it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all good here, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I swung a hammer for a few years.
Polynesia is having problems with buffering too.
Colonel Shaw.
I believe
Shaw,
the
Polynesia, Colonel Shaw. Sorry,
The Polynesia.
I don't have my glasses on. All right, I'm putting my glasses on.
You know what, dear Butch and Carpenter
Oh,
and
Colonel
Wizard?
Shaw, yeah.
I believe in a good hard day's work.
Yep.
I still do.
You know that tired, worn out feeling you have at the end of the day? I always liked that.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in my chair, turning on the TV, and falling asleep in my chair and not even going to bed that night.
Yeah, be so tired and worn out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
You know what I enjoy is when you've got a slab of concrete there at the beginning of the day, and you're working, and at the end of the day, you turn around and you got 4 walls and they're all sheeted and stuff and ready for trusses. That's,
I know
to
that
me,
feeling.
you're looking at, you're going, look, it's not my thing, but look what we did today.
Yeah.
You can look back and see the progress you made in that day.
Yeah.
I fell 3 stories one time walking on icy floor joists 3 stories up in the air.
Nope.
And fell into a fucking pile of garbage that was covered in snow.
Oh, God.
So,
wow.
I can tell you, I had a hammer where I got hit by my hammer loop when it landed. I had a bruise bigger than the palm of my hand where my hammer loop was. I can tell you some stories, but I'm not going to go into it. But I worked my fucking ass off all my life.
Right.
I worked hard, heavy construction jobs.
Carpenter, how old are you?
I'm
59.
61. I'm 61.
You're 61. Wow.
I'm 59.
I
I'm-
did. I used to
54.
get hired on a job with a handshake. Didn't fill out any papers or anything.
Hey, I'm not going to fill out a job application for sure.
That's
I've
the
never
era.
filled one out.
That's the
Well,
era I came from.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever filled out is the withholding paper. You know,
Mm.
after you get the job, you got to fill that out.
Yeah,
Not
I
me
used,
either.
I used to go at 4:00 in the morning as a day laborer, standing out in front of a place that would hire people for day labor. The exact same thing that, except on steroids, more so than what the Hispanics are doing out in front of Home Depot right now. My state used to have a day labor service that they would send people out on a job, and you got paid that day. You got a check that day. You
Nice.
walked home that day. Yeah, you didn't fill out any job applications or anything. That was the standard. I know it wasn't only my state. I know it was all over the United States. That used to be an occupation, to be a day laborer. I've unloaded trucks. I've been a lumper at truck stops, at loading docks. I've done all that kind of work. The hardest, heaviest work, because I didn't have a high school diploma. That's the reason why I did it. I got my high school diploma at 48 years old. So all I ever did was hard, heavy construction jobs. And I wound up with back surgeries and all kinds of stuff because of it. So let's talk about this. I mean, seriously, I don't think people understand what a hard day's work means. I really don't. I've been a dishwasher. I've had all those kind of jobs that nobody else wants. I've always had them all my life. Nobody really wants to be a truck driver.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a bad job.
I know. I worked with a lot of 3 and 4 year degrees, and I'd always turn around and ask them, because I mean, it was kind of hard, brutal work every day, 7, 8 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I'd always tell them, you got this, and they'd be bragging about their degree. And I'm like, you got this degree. Why in the world would you be here? Well, it doesn't pay nothing and there's no jobs in it.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute. So you're telling me you went and spent, I don't know how much money on a 3 or a 4 year degree, and you never took the time to, see what your job prospects were when you got your degree?
Well, the thing of it is, Carpenter, I wanted to make my life better. I really did. I had babies to feed and stuff. I didn't want to have to work 3 jobs.
Well, that's what it was for me, because I used to get.
Tell me. I'd like these assholes that what I had to go through, is any different than what anyone else has had to go through. You tell me about your hard times. I'm like, you know what? Have you ever worked an honest day's work?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't think they have. Honestly, a lot of them have not.
Yeah, I know they haven't. I think that's what probably one of the biggest problems that's facing this country right now is the younger kids aren't coming up with a good work ethic.
It didn't make me a big man.
You know what? On the better note, though, if you were raising a child, like I'm raising Jax right now, like I learned, I don't give him like he wants a $25 card for his games or whatever, and he'll want to have chores to earn money. I never pay him before the work is done.
Nope.
I always make sure he's got the work completed. Then I can go check it, and then and I'll tell you what, I got for a little 10-year-old boy. He'll do what he's told. He'll do what he's told. He's not lazy.
I hand loaded 100-pound bags of fucking sugar and stuff like that. And the faster I loaded it, the faster I got that trailer loaded, the sooner I could go home. I know what that feels like. That's serious work, man. I'm telling you, if it doesn't put you in the hospital, it's not going to get you rich. And those kind of jobs, a lot of people have never worked that kind of work. And so these people that are making...
You ever split wood, sell firewood?
Yes, I have.
That beat the shit out of you kind of thing, man.
Yeah,
Man,
it's hard
We got a
work.
log splitter, but I just did it
Admit it.
all day last Saturday.
I did it with a maul. And
Well, we got a log splitter. You don't have to swing a maul. Well, that's nice.
No, I never. I had always had a log splitter, but you still got to cut that damn tree up and cut it up. Then you got to
Yeah,
carry
then
that
pick
shit
it
up
up
with
and
the
then
log splitter.
That's
waller the
all
log
I did.
around while you split it 8 times. And yeah,
But
oh
we-
yeah, I know what you mean. We just
And
I
then
just
once
did
it's
that.
split, you still got to stack and cut. You still got to stack that shit.
Yeah. Until me and my friend actually got enough money from selling cords of wood, until we got enough money to do that, we couldn't afford a log splitter until we got that. And then we got a log splitter, and then all it did is increase the work.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
well,
A hydraulic
productivity,
log
though.
splitter.
Productivity is better. Hey, try and split elm with an axe. That's
No,
fun.
no.
I did it. I
We
did it with.
heated our house until after December with
Trying to
did-
pull that
wool.
fibers apart.
I did it with an axe. I did it with a maul axe. I did it with a sledgehammer and a maul wedge.
Yeah,
You-
I was like 14.
Oak and hickory is all we got here. Oak and hickory is all we got here.
Yeah.
Oh,
That split's pretty good though. That split's pretty good. You know,
Oak split's
clean.
okay. I don't know about hickory.
Yeah, hickory does
Better
too.
than
We just did
elm.
it. We just did a big tree. It kind of pops. It's real hard, just like oak. I mean, I don't. When you hit it together, it makes that real solid noise. Hickory's a good firewood.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
old
Yeah,
school.
and we use the husk nuts, nut husks to smoke things with. Oh my god, that's good.
And
You know,
And-
that's why I always wondered,
Hey,
Emerald, why you don't
Colonel,
burn wood for heat.
Colonel,
hey,
Colonel,
read the
Colonel,
chat,
stop.
fuckers.
I'm reading.
I-
What do you want?
I can't read.
Hey.
What's up? What's
Let's
up?
read the fucking chat.
I can't.
We have
I want a tablet.
I can't see me, but I can see you, Colonel Shaw.
we've been reading the chat.
We've been trying.
Okay.
Add something to the chat, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, we've been reading the chat, Carl. I was just like,
Hey, give us something to work with, Nightingale.
That's why I don't come on panel very often, because I can't do the chat and on the panel too.
Well, I can't see you guys, but I can read the chat, so I can't do.
well, right.
I
The
got one or the
StreamYard, it
other.
makes it difficult. I know. And that's what I've been trying to explain to people. Is like when you guys come up, you either see the screen or you see the chat. You can't do both. Right. When
And
you're on the
I've been
phone. Right.
I've been trying to read some of it and comment on it, and then I screwed up the name. Sorry, but
Colonel
you know,
Shaw.
maybe one person. Yeah, I know. I should know that name, but I didn't have my glasses on, so it looks all
Carbonated.
blurry.
Yeah.
Colonel
Colonel
Shaw,
Shaw
what do you have to say? What do you have to say, Colonel Shaw?
He was
That's
saying you do a good job, Carpenter. He was praising Carpenter with how he do
Well,
it.
thank you very much. I put a lot of effort into him. I really do. I don't take too much serious, but him I take serious. You guys, I'm dead. They. I think I told you I had to go into school and have his. You know, I had to unenroll him from school. His like a couple days in, his other school called his new school because he does online. You know, I pulled him out of regular school because of the nonsense. So they aren't going to get a hold of him. I'll take him. So I got him homeschooled, and it's actual homeschool, not distance learning, homeschool. And I did that just so that I could pull my fund out of the public schooling here, because I hate the public schooling.
How do you do that? How do you take your funding out of the public school?
It depends on what you have to look around and find the right online school, and they have to be accredited. What it says.
Yeah, I have no kids in school, so
Yeah, so then when I signed him up for here, they said that, they called Mal and said that they're still showing him in there. Well, I went in there to them and I told him, I said, I want Jackson unenrolled. Well, normally when they go to a new school, we send all their work there. I said, all their, school, whatever, the records. And I said to him, I said, well, I did all that. Well, yeah, but we like to know this. I said, I got all that taken care of. Well, we want to just make sure about this. I said, I've taken care of all of it. I said, I'm only here. I want you guys, I want Jackson pulled out of your enrollment, and I want it done now.
Right.
I
And
want
that's
to
when
know.
they pulled him out, and I left. Well, I've got into it a couple times. In third grade, this is what started it. In third grade, he's in fifth this year. In third grade, he come home from school, and I just don't live very far from school, so I take him and pick him up every day. We get in the car, we're riding home, and he says to me, you got to imagine, this is a little 8-year-old, 7-year-old little boy. He looks at me, he says, Grandpa, I gotta put bows in my hair. And I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about? I gotta have bows in my hair, Grandpa. I said, what? He goes, I don't want to wear bows. I said, Bud, you ain't got to wear bows. Who told you that? And here they were doing gender studies in his class where for 1 week, one boy and one girl would live as the opposite sex during that week during school.
Oh my gosh.
And I just told, seriously. And I just told Jax, I said, Bud, you don't have to do that. And he goes, well, yeah, you do. Everybody does, Grandpa. And he's like, no, Grandpa will take care of it.
Cool.
Yeah, so we walked in school the next morning, and I walked in, instead of just dropping him off at the front door like I always did, I walked in with him, and he went off to his class, and I took a left and went over to the office. And I went to the counter, and I said, I'm Jackson's grandpa, and I just want to tell him that Jackson's not going to participate in that gender studies. Well, we're just trying to. I said, no. I said, I'm just here to tell you, Jackson's not going to be participating in this. Well, the principal heard me. And he comes walking out to me. He says, well, I need to talk. I said, I'm not here to talk to you. I said, the only reason I'm here right now is I'm telling you, my grandson is not going to be in this gender studies program. And then Jackson didn't have to.
And that's in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's in Minnesota.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's insane. And that was the first red flags that started waving and the red lights that went off. I thought, what in the hell? Well, then they've been monkeying with this mask thing. And then if a kid tests positive, they got to be quarantined for 10. And then if you read in the paperwork in Minnesota, if you read it, because I read it, if a kid, they can actually, under certain circumstances, they can take your kid. Like I could go to pick him up at night, and one of the kids in there could have tested positive for COVID, the fake test. Positive for COVID, and they could take him away from me for 10 days.
Yeah, I know.
And that's when I went to my daughter and I told her, Mal, we got to get him out. I said, because your dad's going to go to jail if something like that happens. Because when I go there, I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to go there and I'm going to get him out of there. And I don't care who's there. They're not. And then that's when we went into distance learning for 1 year. Distance learning is just an online school through the school.
Right.
Well, then this year I'm so disgusted with him. I wanted his funding pulled out of the public school system. And so then it goes over to this online school. And another little quick note. I sat in on one of his first classes, like second day he was in school, just sitting there in the same room. And I'm watching him on his computer. And do you know what his first history class is? Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Nice.
Yeah, I was so happy. I just smiled. And Jackson does really good, and really he's really he likes this. He likes the distance learning. In regular school, he was a CB student, and in distance learning, when he got out of the classroom, he went to an AB student. So he doesn't really like the class atmosphere. He told me all the time it was boring. How was your day, bud? Oh, Grandpa, it was boring. You just get bored, stiff sitting in there.
Go there, sit there,
Yeah. You know what I'd like to see is a lot of these teachers that are really upset with the system and the way things have been through this whole COVID thing is to set up their own tutoring program and do small classes. They could probably make more money. I
seen that online. A girl did that and makes way more money than she made teaching.
Yeah. And you move from teaching to a private tutor and you take on a small class and you make decent money doing that. And if it's a teacher that left during this COVID thing, you probably trust them.
They said in 19...
Hey, Nightingale. Hold on a second, guys.
Okay.
I just wanted to say something real quick to Nightingale. Yeah, I can see that, Nightingale. and turned around. This dude turned around and grabbed the bolt cutters and started waving at them, talking fast in Spanish. Waving that thing at him. I can see that. That's
Both
funny.
cutters take a little bit of work.
But yeah, go ahead, Carpenter.
No, I'm taking, I'm just doing what I can. I'm getting out of this mess. I'm not monkeying with these people no more. I'm keeping my family away from these mentals.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
they're
did
mental.
teach one of my oldest boy. I pulled him out of school and taught him for a year.
Yeah.
And he after they were kept telling me he was learning disabled and he couldn't pay attention and he wasn't doing. I was like they tried to make him take Ritalin and
He was bored.
and all that.
He was
Fuck
bored.
that. Fuck that
Yeah.
Ritalin stuff.
He was a little boy and he was bored. I'll bet you. That's what all
And they
of them
weren't
are.
teaching him
They're
shit.
little boys and they're bored and they can't sit still for 2 minutes.
Right, but they weren't teaching him shit. They weren't teaching him nothing. They complained about his handwriting, but he never had a handwriting assignment. You know what I'm saying? That kind of crap. I was like, listen, you bastards. My son, I was like, you're so full of shit. This boy's been building computers since he was 5 years old. Don't tell me he's learning disabled bunch of bullshit. He can reprogram your computer without you even knowing it.
Just freaking bored. That's the problem. I had the
That's
same problem.
That's what most of it is. You're right here. They're bored.
Well,
They're bored.
I got a quick little story. If I can give you a quick little story. It was probably 15 years ago. I was sitting outside of Taekwondo studio, Subakdo studio, whatever. And this little boy was sitting next to me, and my daughter was inside doing her lessons and stuff. And I was sitting with this little boy, and he said, my mom and dad make me take these pills, and it makes me sleep all day, and I'm so tired all the time. But the teacher says I have to take it. Like, this poor kid was just sad because he just wanted to live his life, and he had him on so much freaking drugs because of ADHD or whatever. And my brother's the same way. He'll tell you the same thing. I'm about 4 years older than him, and I had the same kind of issues that he did. And that's about the time he was born in 1970. And it was about the time that the ADHD thing started coming in. It was whatever. And he said, that's the worst thing they ever did to me. It ruined all my creativity. It made me tired and just I was too hyper.
Make him an addict.
They wanted to sedate me.
They were making him a meth addict because that's all that shit is.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just sad when you see people. And this little kid, he couldn't have been more than 8 years old. I mean, how do you put somebody on Ritalin when they're 8 years old?
And probably just because he was bouncing around in class.
Yeah, well, he's a hyper little boy. Big deal.
Yeah, bored to death.
Yeah, and Nightingale says schools get money for every kid that's on those medications.
Well, right. Yeah, I know.
Oh, that. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I would believe that absolutely. Why wouldn't they? Everything is a money grabbing scam with them,
Well,
and it's not a benefit to the kids too. It's a money grabbing scam that's not a benefit to the children. They couldn't give a shit less about
all
our
it
kids.
does is freaking hurt the kids. It does. And it's just sad when you. I mean, this kid was damn near in tears. I didn't even know the kid, and he was damn near in tears telling me the story that it just makes me sleep all day, and all I want to do is go out and play and stuff. But they make me take these pills, and it's heartbreaking, is what it was. And
a lot of times it's the parents' fault because their kid's a little wild and jumpy, and running around, and they don't take the time to go out in the yard and play with them to burn that extra energy off a little bit.
I agree with that too.
You're right.
So I can't control him. Well, because he's pent up or she's pent up. Well, here it is, a little boy or little girl that's just tiny, and they're just, the whole world for them, everything they see is new. It's just big and exciting, and they wanted this and that, and they're running. They're running. You know, that's what kids do. You got to.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, kids have an unlimited amount of energy,
right.
and you can't just drug them so that they fit well
In
better in
your work
school.
schedule.
Yeah,
I used to
whatever
send my
works
boy
for you.
when I was homeschooling him. I used to, one of the first things I did during the day was we'd go out and we'd do the rounds with the property and turn around. I'd say, okay, now hop on your bike and ride around the neighborhood twice, and then
Yep.
we'll start the classes. Sure enough.
Way to start the day,
Take the
for
edge
sure.
off.
Yeah.
This school is from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock, and it takes about a half an hour to do any extra work he's got. So he goes to school from 10 to roughly 2:30, but a little after 2:30. And then he's got two other buddies near here, that same school. Parents pulled him out, same age. Oh, I was going to tell you, last year in 2020, 2020, there was roughly 2.5, or I think it's actually 2.3 million homeschooled kids in America. This year it's 5.5. It's just about doubled.
Nice. Yeah, Nightingale. I remember the words "Be home before the street lights turn on."
I was
That's
just
what the
going
rule.
to
We have that
comment
rule.
on that. I
The
agree.
street lights come on. It's time to come home.
Yeah.
Jackson has that rule.
Nightingale, good comment. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so did my mom. In the summer, you'd get up in the morning, she'd feed you breakfast and kick you out the door, tell you got to go.
In
And
the
she'd
summer,
like
yeah.
threaten you. Okay, if you're staying in the house, then I'm going to have you take the garbage out and start vacuuming, and we're going to get the house, because my mom was a clean freak. We're going to get, and I hated it,
We
So
get on.
I'd get up in the morning, I'd blast out the door, and away I'd go for the day.
Yeah.
Right.
We get in all kinds of trouble doing that too. Mom would kick us out of the house, and we'd go off somewhere and explore, and we get in all kinds of trouble.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, when you're like 10, 12 years old, I mean,
Yeah. That's good though. That's not. I don't think that. I think that's the way it's supposed
we
to
never
be.
did it. We never harmed anyone or anything like that. We just,
No, you're just prowling around in the barn you shouldn't be in, or
yeah, right.
over around some place you weren't supposed to go, because it's always
Exactly.
grass is always greener on
You
the other
almost
side.
got it right, because we used to go explore abandoned buildings and abandoned tunnels in our area.
We'd always go exploring creeks, digging caves. We dig caves. We didn't have any caves in our area, so we dig them.
No, these were actual tunnels, brick line
No, we'd
tunnels
make
that
them.
were partially collapsed in and stuff. And
Yeah, we'd make them. Turn them into clubhouses and shit like that.
oh yeah, building forts and all that kind of stuff. God, that was fun. We used to play Star Trek or Gunsmoke. I'm not old.
Most of them we got into was stealing lumber out of the construction areas.
I never did that.
Remember when the recess bell rang and everybody ran out as fast as they could? They were just trying to get out of the school. And then
mass exodus.
And we'd almost be standing in line waiting for the bell to ring to get out of school.
Yeah.
I remember it was like probably like third or fourth grade for me, whatever. And I had like some shitty boots that I had. They were maybe left over from the last year. And my mom would put the Wonder Bread baggies inside my boots. So get wet. And I hated going outside for recess because it was like, 15 degrees out or something, and my feet would always get wet, and even with the Wonder bags on. I mean, that's old school stuff.
Oh yeah, I did that. I've actually did that very thing. If I'm not mistaken, seriously, they were Wonder Bread bags.
Wonder Bread bags.
Bunny bread.
Bunny bread. Guys, but I get it.
See, we wore the old packs, the old sorrels and stuff with the felt liners. Well, then the outside would crack, the felt would get ripped, so you'd take the felt liner out, put a plastic bag on the felt liner, put your foot back in the boot, and you always had that Wonder Bread bag wrapped over the top of your
Wonder Bread bag.
Yeah, it was actual. It was if I'm not mistaken, they were
Yeah.
actual Wonder Bread bag with the balloons on them, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like I talked about what got me into hunting is I'd get up in the mornings on the weekends, and my dad would have 3 or 4 shotgun shells sitting on the counter. I was like 10 years old, and I used an old J.C. Higgins 20 gauge, and we didn't have, we always had clothes. We always had a warm place to sleep. My mom always kept our house decent and clean. It was an older house, but a nice house, but old. It was older. She kept it nice. It wasn't nice. She kept it nice, but we didn't have any extras. We didn't have. I remember that one time I was sitting in the ditch with my 20 gauge. I was 10 years old, my bicycle sitting beside me, and I'd short stroked my shotgun, and I had it jammed. And there's this little piece of tab of metal that when you run the bolt, it's a 3-shot 20 gauge bolt action. And when you ran the bolt action back, it would catch this little piece of metal, and that's what flipped your shell out. Well, I short stroked the pucker, and I jammed it, and I was so afraid that I was going to break that little metal tab off. So I'm sitting in the ditch with my pocket knife, and I'm trying to get this shell out, trying to unwedge it. And this guy pulls up in his truck, this old guy, and he said, what are you doing there, little fella? Little man, he called me. What are you doing there, little man? And I showed him. My guy said, shell, 20 gauge shell, half sticking out of the chamber, And he says, I short stroked it and I jammed it and I can't get it loose. And he said, well, let me take a look at it. And he reached in his pocket knife, got his knife, and he dinked around with it a little bit. And sure as heck, he clipped it out of there and it fell out on the ground. And he worked it a couple times and he handed it and goes, there you go. You have a good day, little fella. And he got back in his truck and drove away. At 10 years old, some stranger pulled over on the dirt road and unjammed my shotgun for me. That's how it was where I grew up. People, they're so amazed by it. We used to have our shotguns sitting in school in the coat room.
Yeah.
Because I'd hunt my way home at night.
There was an armory in our middle school.
Yeah.
Yep. We're putting 22s out for target practice.
Funny thing back then too, we didn't have any mass shootings.
No. Hey, even in summer camp, they had a 22 range. They had 22 rifles. You could go in there and target practice with the 22.
Yeah, we had, in high school we had it's called sportsman's biology. It was elective, but it counted as your biology, and it was all the hunting. So it was reloading rounds, it was shooting, it was trapping,
That's
it was
cool.
all kinds of going out on snowshoes and skis, and it was everything to do with outdoors. It was sportsman's biology. In high school, yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
There's sportsman's biology, and then there was advanced sportsman's biology.
No, see, I think I don't know what you guys do there. In Minnesota, we have a high school trap shooting league now.
No, I'm trying to get Jackson to one, but they got to be like 14 years old now.
Yeah, I see. I think Carpenter. We've talked about that. That I have that range. We've got like 4 different high schools now that shoot at that range, and it's freaking awesome. I wish I could have done that when I was in high school.
Yeah,
I could have actually had whatever.
yeah.
But that's neat. We didn't have that in high school.
No, we did. We had sportsman's biology.
Hey, I had and that's cool. I remember. I don't think there was a day in high school in the fall that I didn't have a gun in my car.
Oh, absolutely. You'd put it in there about this time of year, about September.
Yeah.
Middle of September, it went right in your back trunk of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran with a 12 gauge. I've had a 12 gauge in my truck for my vehicle. I almost can't ever remember not having one.
I did in the fall. It was the 12 gauge. I always had the 12 gauge, and I always had the 22 pistol with me.
Yeah.
In the high school parking lot.
Yeah.
And I never shot anyone.
No, never got it out. Never. I don't know. I grew up with them. Like when I was a kid, they were, little kid at 4 or 5 years old. I can remember back then they were, my parents and uncles and everybody hunted. So they were always laying around our house in the corners. You'd come in duck hunting. You just put them in the corner and let them dry.
Yeah, right.
So they were standing. At certain times of the year, they were literally standing in all the corners in our house. It was everywhere. You know what? Jackson's growing up just that way. There's guns all over this place, and they're in the case now, and they're in my gun case now because it's not. But now it's starting here in a week.
Right.
it won't be nothing to walk in my room or go out in the living room and have a 12 gauge sitting in the corner and that I got it up sitting up drying that I got back from. He knows not to touch them. He don't mess with them.
That's funny that you mentioned that because that brings back a memory that my dad had a gun rack in his closet, and when they were gone or something, I would actually play with his guns. I never loaded them,
Yeah.
and they were always unloaded. But I would look at his guns and just in amazement go, "Oh, someday I can shoot one of these and stuff." And
Butch, I got in trouble with my dad's 30-30 and the gun. He had it in the gun case in his closet. I couldn't have been but 8 or 9 or 10. I was young. And his gun was in the case in the closet. Well, they left, like you said. So what do I got to do? And there wasn't bullets in them. They weren't loaded. All this.
Right.
So I got it out. And I got caught because my fingerprints. He had it so cleaned and so oiled that he seen my handprints, and it never dawned on me like a dumbass,
Yeah.
Never dawned. And he come home and holy shit, he got mad at me. Get in here, young man. I told you. And boy, after that, I didn't mess with him.
Right.
I was a crack shot. My stepdad, he was in the Marine Corps, and he was a Marine Corps rifle instructor. So he basically taught me, how to breathe and everything when I took the shot, and everything they teach you in the Marine Corps, he taught me on a pellet rifle.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad was in the military. My dad taught me to shoot. My father.
Yep.
He taught me to shoot. He taught me about. I would squint when I was using a scope. I would squint, like you do. You close one eye and look through the scope and bear down. And he told me, he said, "You'll never be a good shot that way."
No.
He said,
"Both
eyes open, kid." And then he showed me how to slide the gun out and just tilt your head. You just tilt you, and it ain't very much. When you first look at it, it's like you're cross-eyed and you're looking at 2 scopes. And then as you slide it back and you just tilt your head, and I mean, you ain't sliding back much and you ain't tilting your head to the right much either. I'm a right-handed shooter, You tilt your head to the right and you'll see it with both eyes. It just comes right back into foot. But now it's to the point where that's how I shoot now.
No, I got a question for you, Carpenter, because I don't do a lot of scope shooting, but isn't that mostly because when I think of a 2-eye shooting, I think it more of an open sight shooting. So you do.
No, to be really good with a scope, you got to have. He told me, he said, if you're ever going to be a sniper, because that's what he told me. Snipers, the good ones, always. Everybody, you're taught how to shoot with you keep your eyes open, and so you can see. And it really helps me deer hunting, because I can see my full field of view, and I don't close one eye, and then your depth perception is off, and you lose a huge portion of your vision by just sliding the gun out. And just what you do is as you're sliding the gun forward, you just tilt your head to the right with both eyes and look right down the scope and all of a sudden it comes in and you'll just see the scope. But then you have in your peripheral vision, you can see everything around it. So and I started it when I was.
I get that, but I shoot open sight, so it's hard for me to.
Yeah, open sights, you kind of got to do that. Open sights, you got to close that one eye.
No, I shoot 2-eye, but I'm right eye dominant, so it's easy for me. If you ever try to teach somebody who's left eye dominant, who is a right-handed shooter, that's tough.
Yeah, wonky.
Nightingale called out fire in the bowl.
Fire in the bowl. Cheers. Cheers. I don't have fire in the bowl.
I shoot shotgun with both eyes open too.
I do too.
I do.
Almost fully open.
It screws me up on the sight. It's the distance. For me, it's the distance between the sight on open sights. It's the distance between the sight, front sight, and the back sight that I can't get both of them lined up. And my dad said that a lot of times you can't. He goes, "There's guys that do it, but it's pretty hard."
Okay.
When you're using
how to shoot a pistol, you learn with both eyes open, just like what you're talking about.
Yeah, but see, your sights are way out in front of you, and the distance between your front sight and your back sight are real close.
Every time
you look at them, then you can line them both up.
Well, every time you use one eye, you're aiming. When you use both eyes, you learn to use both eyes. It's called instinctive shooting.
Well,
I don't know. I can see the sights perfect, like on a handgun or a Well, it's when I use iron sights, because, and he said it, my dad said it was because of the distance between the front sight and the rear sight.
Yeah.
That's what screws you up. Like, that's why a handgun, when you hold it straight out in front of you, then you use both eyes open because you can line everything up perfect. Or a scope when you push it back and you turn your head. But
Well,
with iron sights, there's only what, 4 inches, 6 inches between the sights on a handgun, and of course a scope is a single sight plane, and that's why you can use both eyes there. But when you go with a rifle, it's hard to use both eyes, and it has to do with the distance between the front, because it's like most of them are what, 20 inches at the shortest, and they can go out to like 28 inches. He said
28.
that's what screws you up with, because I told him, I said I can't shoot because I was getting where I shot everything open eyes, and I'd get a rifle with iron sights and I couldn't shoot that open eye. And he said, just close your left eye. He said, that's what you have to do on a rifle. And it's because of the difference between the front sight and the back sight is like 24 inches, where in a handgun it's 4 to 6 inches, and with a scope it's on a single sight plane. He explained it all to me. See, what started the whole thing, taught him, was I was at a place one time, and I got in an argument with the guy, and he had missed a big buck. And I said, why'd you miss the buck? And he said, well, the gun wasn't sighted in for me. And I said, I don't think it works like that, And he hollered at me.
Put your own gun in first of all.
Yeah, but I asked my dad about it, And he said, what'd you do? I said, I just didn't say nothing because I didn't know. He says, no. He said, you got to understand that on a gun, doesn't matter what gun it is, any gun, it doesn't matter what gun it is. Doesn't matter. Handgun, rifle, shotgun, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what sight system you're using, same material. That sight can only be in one place to send that range down and hit that target. It can't be in two,
Right.
can't be in three, it can only be in one. And he says, think about it like this. If you were in the military and you'd never be able to pick your buddy's gun up, or a random gun dropped on the field, you'd never be able to pick that up and use it because they'd all be sighted in wrong. And he said, no, they're a gun. It's the, lining up of the sights. It can only go one place. That sight can only go one place for that round to hit where you're supposed to hit downfield. That can only go one place. Your sight system can only go in one spot. If you move it, doesn't matter who picks it up. If you move it, it's off.
Time for pie.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a trick. I learned this a while back to show your eye dominance. And you guys could see me. I can't see you. When you're shooting, I'm right-handed. I'm right eye dominant. So if you go like this, and you put your finger out in front of you, like this, straight in line with your hand. If you can see what I'm doing,
Cookie.
put your finger out in front of your hand, and you look at it, and you close one eye or the other. Which one do you see? The one on this side or the one on that side?
Yeah, I'm right eye dominant.
Yeah. And
I know there's people that shoot right, but they're left eye dominant.
That's hard. That's harder. It is.
Yeah, that's really a problem.
It is. It is. Yeah. Because if you shoulder to the right, you want to look down the sights, and you almost have to twist your head over to look. And that was my wife's problem all the time. I tried to teach her to shoot, and she was left eye dominant, but she was right-handed.
Well, my dad said what they did in there, he was a drill instructor for years. He said what they did in the military was they took those people that were like shot right-handed but were left eye dominant, and they would start slowly, they spent more time with them getting them to shoot left-handed.
Yeah.
Because they would go whatever dominant eyesight, even though they were right-handed, they would shoot left-handed because they were left eye dominant.
But see, the difference is so minor that you can actually squint one eye and still shoot right eye if you squint enough to take away that dominance.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do, but it's possible too.
It's getting bigger.
Do it.
How are the puppies all doing? Did they all make it?
Yes, and they're all getting big. There's hardly.
I've seen that 1.5-minute video. They're sure cute. They're all fighting for mom. They're all starving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cute.
I set one up the other day. Their eyes just opened up and they're trying to walk. There's a lot of baby rangers. Just,
How's he like them?
he's like, I don't want to be in here, Dad. He's like, I won't go back outside. It's raining. No, you stay inside. It's nighttime. I know.
Nightingale, you're welcome to my range anytime.
Right. He's such a good boy. I tell you what, he's been so cool.
Cute
So
puppy.
he'll go
You know
hunt,
what?
save
Next-
stuff.
Well, it won't be this weekend, the 18th, because I got to go to that funeral thing. But next weekend, I start in Wisconsin. You have to buy a bow license, and they're $160 to bow hunt over there, or $160 for rifle, and they don't give you a deal if you rifle and bow. So $320 just to hunt over there.
That's where your land is.
No, yeah, that's where I hunt. I hunt Minnesota
hunt.
too, but
Yeah.
I actually hunt Minnesota, Wisconsin, North and South Dakota, and I want to hunt Iowa.
Wow.
But yeah, I see. Since I got jacks, I've slowed, and that's where everybody knows me at. It's since I've had jacks, because I have so much time on my hands. Before I had jacks, you guys, I hunted three and a half months of the year. That's all I did.
Nice.
I mean, I'd just take off. I'd be gone for 2 weeks, week and a half, 3 weeks. I'd literally come home from duck hunting, and the only reason I'd come home is because the next day was deer season. And so I'd come home, put my duck decoys away, get my deer equipment out, and start deer hunting. And the minute that, literally the next day, when deer hunting was over, I'd come home, bring my gear home, and I'd change out and I'd go to goose hunting. Did it for my whole life. And you know, that biggest buck I got, my big one in the middle, I'd hunted from September 15th through November 11th. I'd hunted every single day. I hadn't missed one single day. And Jackson was like, I think he was 5. He was
Oh,
5
wow.
years old. And I'd hunted so much, and I'd hunted the whole week. And it was Sunday, Saturday after. No, it was Sunday afternoon, because I knew that I was going to come home Sunday night, and that was dawn till dusk. And I was going to come home, and then I'd be home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I left Thursday morning, and I went to Wisconsin, and that was for 2 weeks. Well, I thought I was feeling, like I was letting jacks down, like I'm feeling guilty because I was hunting all the time.
Right.
So about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I hadn't seen nothing the whole season, hadn't seen shit the whole season long. I thought, I'm going to go back because I'm going to go spend the afternoon with Jax. Then we can spend the week together, because every night I get home, he'd be so happy to see me, So I'm walking back down to go to the car. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm walking through a picked bean field. And on the fence line down there, I'm walking along. I look up, and there's a deer standing in the trees, You couldn't hardly see the head. You could just see the legs. Well, then I got looking closer, and here it was a buck, and it was a big buck. I mean, this is my big one in the middle here. So I right standing in the middle of that field, you guys, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I dropped down on one knee, put my back, and had been duck hunting so much before that I'd only put 3. I'd unload and load my gun, because you can only have 3 in there, and you can't go to and from when you're duck hunting. You can't walk around with a loaded gun like when you're in the boat and stuff. You can't have a loaded gun. So you just get used to, when you duck hunt, you'll unload your gun anytime you go to or from the car, or you're coming in and out. You just unload your gun, because you can't have it loaded when you're duck hunting.
Right.
Well, especially on the boat, that's what we use as a boat. But I was so used to that, when I thought I'm going to go back home, see Jax, I unloaded my gun, just dropped my shotgun shells in my backpack and stuff, and out I went. So I got down and I went to lift my gun up to aim at him. He was about probably 75 or 80 yards standing there. Went to pick my gun up, and it dawned on me that my gun wasn't loaded. And my top of my backpack was open, probably 5 inches is all, where I didn't put the zippers tight together. And I just got my hand down in there, and I reached down and I fumbled around, and I grabbed the first shell I did. I bring it up, and as I was loading my gun, I realized it was a Bic lighter. So I dropped the lighter, went back down inside, and this time I had 2 shells when I come out in between my fingers, and then I just dropped one in the chamber, and boom, I shot it and dropped it there, and that was the big buck. And the only reason I got that was because I was feeling guilty, and I was walking back to the car. I hadn't seen nothing all year.
Oh, wow.
So that was one of my stories. I got all of mine have a story. The 10-pointer, I was on a ridge, and he was sneaking. And first thing that come by was does about 60 yards below me. 2 big does, and I think 3 fawns were with him. I can't remember. 6 deer, 4 deer, something like that, come underneath me. Well, I wasn't shooting them, and I looked way, way down in the bottom because I'm up on the ridge, and here I see this buck coming, and all I could see was he had a big rack, like his nose on the ground going back and forth, and he was trying to find them does, but they'd skirted and went up the hill. So he drops his nose and he's coming up the hill at me, and I aimed at him. Now I'm on him because I followed him down there for a ways, and I thought, oh my God, this deer is going to walk right by me, 70, 80 yards, right by me, and I'm not even going to get to shoot because he wouldn't stop. He would not stop, and he just nosed down. Well, the does had went over on the left of me about 100 yards out, and they'd laid down on the side hill. When he come up the hill, they seen he picked their trail up, and he was coming, and they didn't want to undo with him. So they jumped up and were going to take off and run. And all he did was he stopped for just a second and lifted his head to see where them does were running. And he took probably a half a step when I shot him through the, Boilermaker. I killed him right there.
Right.
Yeah. And the big 8-pointer I got on the left up there, he was coming through the woods, and there was a whole shitload of deer down there. And all I could see was this giant rack. And no deer because his head was just high enough. It was out of the bushes and the broken down trees and shit. And that's all I could see was his rack. So I'm following him with my scope, trying like hell to pick a hole through this brush. He was probably only in there 85 or 90 yards. I'm just following with the scope, and finally he got up and he stopped. And all I could see was like from his ears up in his head. And all I could think was that, oh my God, look at that. It's a nice buck. And I couldn't shoot at it. Well, as I was looking at it, I noticed down there was a spot about the size of a half a paper plate, and it was right behind his shoulder. And I just lowered down. I fed that round 90 yards. I went through a place probably size of a large coffee can. I put it through a hole the size of a large coffee can, dumped him on the ground.
Nice.
Yeah. I love this fucking shit.
I think Wizard needs a deer.
Why?
I think he needs a big ass deer.
Yeah. My Nickelback sausage gravy biscuits.
I'm not talking a 2-legged deer.
Oh, okay. No, I can get a deer. There's no problem.
Got 90 acres of hardwoods.
90 acres, huh? Nice.
Yeah.
I'd feed two a year there.
We got some deer stands out. We got some apple corn going.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We planted some of that deer weed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we planted that stuff out there. So we got plenty of ground brush and stuff like that for them out there. But we do have ranger.
Just to keep the meat supply going for the dogs and everything too.
You're right. See? But he's been doing really well with the raccoons and possums and the squirrels.
That's nice. He keeps the nuisance animals out of the yard.
Oh yeah.
And the buildings and them, they make a mess of your soffits and fascias, and then them coon will get up in your soffit, and then they're going to the bathroom, and then they got a mess. Yeah.
I don't remember how many times I've torn down soffit and there's coon shit all over in it.
I know it.
We've torn down soffit and coon and raccoons run out of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, gee.
I got freaking raccoon shit in my attic.
Yeah. Yeah, people think these animals are these, and they are, don't get me wrong, and I don't just kill them for the fun of it, but sometimes they get to be really nuisances, and they can do a lot of damage to your property.
Oh yeah.
I know when he's
the same way too. I've got more problems with squirrels than raccoons.
I know when he's had a successful hunt, he gets those dark red marks underneath his jawline right here on the side of his mouth.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he does it'll brown around down off of his jaws.
Nice.
And can't hide it.
Like blood on your hunting boots.
That's right. He's over here like, I want to go back outside, Dad, please. He's like, let me go outside. I want to go outside. He's like, I already ate. I'm done.
I like the smell of deer blood on my boots.
I had a
Well,
lady. I had a lady on the internet told me one time she was a PETA person and a vegan,
Oh,
and
geez.
we were talking, and she was telling me that you get deer shit all over you, and I'm like, you like deer shit all over you? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't get deer poop on me. You know, God, they
No, if
got
you do
mad
it
at me.
right, you don't get any deer poop on you.
That was this. It was in this PETA exactly. It was in this PETA room, and of course I started right in about like I like to kill most of the. I like to personally kill most of the meat I eat, and then of course they attack you. I'm a
Now, of
kind of a.
course.
oh yeah,
I'm a bit of a troll
So
with
you were
those kind of.
trolling.
Yeah, I was trolling. That's what I was doing. She's
yeah.
like,
I
you're
do
shit
that
all over
here. I
me.
get a local thing I do here too. So I
That
just troll
really,
on it.
you know that that fall smell where
Oh
you
yeah, yeah.
that really uh fresh meat smell that
That
you get on
iron,
your
I was
almost like
thinking like
iron
the
smell.
acorns dropping and the oak leaves and
Oh, you
the
mean, I think meant
grass.
both.
Yeah, I love that fall smell
Oh, yeah. Fall is the best time of year.
by far. For most of my life, I hated summer. I just hated summer. Always hated summer. And I asked my
Uh-oh.
sister. Now I don't, of
I
course.
think I lost
But
you guys.
yeah, he froze up.
Yeah, looks like he froze up.
Let me try
But
that.
um, my sister pointed out one time. She said to me, she says, "Well, I know why you hate summer." She
We're
says,
back.
"You work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Summers aren't any fun for you."
Right.
Because I just went wild. I worked wild because and then because hunting season was coming up, then I could go and run and do what I wanted.
Right.
And that's why I didn't like summer, and I never done. She's the one that noticed my left arm. Every time my left arm, when I was going through my surgeries, when it would get really bad and sore, I thought it was like a birth thing because she's like a year and a half, 2 years older than me. I thought it was like a subliminal thing you get from your relative, ions in your head or whatever. And because
Right.
every time my arm would really be bothering me, she'd say, "Oh, brother, your arm's really sore today." And I mean, it was like every time it was really sore. It was to the point I was starting to freak out. Like, how does she know my arm's that sore? Never said nothing to her. And then I asked her. So finally, this went on for a while. And finally, one day I said, "How do you know every time my arm is really sore?"
Hey,
She said, "You
hi,
got your
Bruce.
hand in your pocket because that way you
See you.
don't have to move your arm."
what you did is you were always holding on to something
No,
really
Bruce.
heavy.
Yeah, that's what I
Bruce,
was
Bruce,
putting
Hammer
I was
Bruce needs
putting
to
my
come
hand,
back.
my left fingers in my pocket, so my arm wouldn't bend up and down like picking something up. I just put my fingers in my pocket and I'd walk. And she said, "You don't ever walk around with your hands in your pocket, Sam."
I always had something in my left hand, like a freaking 2x4 or something. I'm always cutting a piece of wood or something like that with my left hand, holding it there in place with the left hand, and the right arm is doing all the work. That's probably what it is. You got like an imbalance going on in your muscular system, you know,
No,
because
Bruce,
you did it
nobody's
for so long.
ignoring you, man. We are seeing you. But it's just the guys up here on the screen can't necessarily see chat. Um,
Well, what did he say? Shoot a deer with a bit lighter in a shotgun?
yeah, he was making fun of him trying to load a big lighter into the
Oh, okay.
shotgun.
I missed that guy. I had to go outside. So, whatever.
So,
No,
Carpenter,
we see you, Bruce.
do you think
Yeah,
that
we
might
see
be what it was? It's just a different bunch of muscle groups working on the left arm versus hammering and sawing and all that with the right arm.
Or did you have an injury early on or something? Carpenter.
Because me, I was always hanging on to something with my left arm and working with my right arm.
Bruce, I'm
Carpenter?
actually reading chat, but I can't type anything in, so I can't respond. I don't want to interrupt people. So I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Carpenter, are you there?
Sorry.
Carpenter?
Uh-oh. We lose them?
Maybe. Bruce says he just got paid today. Got a pocket full of
Pocket
change.
full of change.
Going jing-a-ling-a-ling.
Nope, we lost Carpenter. That was most of our conversation, wasn't it?
I think he's just in the other room.
Oh, well, he might have walked away. No, I can't see. Is he still on screen or what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's cool.
But yeah, it's it's really humid here tonight.
It was a gorgeous day today. Rained yesterday, and we had that shoot today, and it was just a perfect day to be outside today. Just perfect. And I had the day off, so that's even better.
Nice. I just got
And I have
back.
the
I
day
had to
off
go check
tomorrow.
on Jax. But with my sister that time, I thought she had like mental telepathy.
Right?
Because it went on for a long time. Yeah, it went on for a long time. And I was like, how does she know? How can
Got
she
him,
know
man.
that? And then here it was.
Reading
She
body
just,
language.
I was putting my hand in my pocket. She said, you don't care.
Fire in the boat. Shadow
Yeah.
Man. Fire in the boat.
Fire in the boat. Come on.
Fire
Yeah.
in the boat.
Yeah, our wood stack is 18 feet long. It's exactly 5 feet tall. It's 36 inches deep, and we put 16-inch. We cut in 16-inch logs and split them, and we filled that whole thing 2 layers.
Right? Oh,
So
wow.
that'll get us to. We'll have some left in the spring, but not much.
That's a few cords.
Yeah.
What is a cord? 4 by 2 by
4 by 4
8?
by 8.
4 by 4 by 8. Yeah.
Okay, I can probably do 4 by. What is that? I can do the math and figure this out.
16 inches is
18. Mine's 18
16
foot
inches is
tall,
1/3
5
of
foot long,
4
3
feet.
foot deep. So it'll be 18 times 5 times 3. Let me. I'm gonna do math here in a minute, you guys, because I want to know how many cords that is.
Right?
Well,
I'm
if
gonna
you
do some
do
math here quick. I gotta get my calculator.
Over here where I live, a cord is a pickup, a regular 8-foot long pickup bed stacked just about 12 inches from the side rails. That's what a cord is here.
Yeah, I think a cord is 4 by 4 by 8. So if you take a 16-inch log,
It varies.
4 by 4 by 8, that'll give you what?
See, I used to haul the wood with a rack on my pickup bed and deliver it by the cord, and that would be just a little bit above the pickup bed, probably about 12 inches above the pickup bed. That's what it. So you're right.
Sounds about right.
My my wood rack is 2.5 cords.
A pickup bed is 8 feet long and 6 feet wide.
And it's a ring.
Roughly.
That's
30 inches deep.
At 18 inches, that's a ring. 18 inches long.
So
you got
you're
the
6 by 8 by 30 inches or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 6 by 8 by 30. Yeah, like 30 or 26 or 20, 30.
20, something like that. Yeah, that's about it.
Whatever. I just have to measure it.
And split wood is a different price than unsplit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seasoned is a lot different too. So, and oak
You know,
is different
I know
than birch. and
You can put a ton more in if you go to fill it. Like if you go buy a quarter cup, whatever, a pickup load of wood, you can get a ton more in it if you stack it like you're stacking it in a wood thing than if you just throw it in there.
right. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Oh,
a
yeah.
ton more.
Oh, yeah.
Like half again as much as you'd normally.
Yeah, we used
Easily.
to load a pickup truck bed on end. We'd cut 18 inches,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then we'd stack them on in because you got 32 square feet
yeah.
in the back of a pickup truck.
And you stack them in the back, not throw them in the back, stack them in the back.
Stack them on end, and you stand them all up all the
Oh,
way
I
to
see
the
what
back.
you're saying. Stand them up.
Yep, we stand them up, and that's one rink,
Nice.
and it'll fit in there.
But thanks to
stack
you
them-
guys tonight,
Stack them too high then, or what?
I know I got 2.5 cords of wood in our wood rack at camp. There's probably 3 because there's another half cord of, split up knot ends and shit that I throw in a
Right.
pile and we burn outside.
Well, I'm kind of surprised because you're pretty much on par with what I know a cord of wood is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A cord of wood's 127 square feet.
But I've had people tell me different parts of the country call a cord of wood a little different.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rank. There's a rank, and then there's the cord.
What's
cord
the
is
rank?
Yeah.
Well, how do you judge a rank?
Well, here you go 18 inch, make 3 ranks per cord. So it's 18 inches wide, 4 foot tall, and 8 foot long.
Okay. I gotcha.
Then
And
that's the rank. Now you get
And there's 3 ranks to a cord. So I would have 7.5, 8 ranks in my 2.5 cord, give or take, because there's room for error there.
Right.
See, that's only important if you're delivering wood. You're going to have people calling you up. I want a cord or something.
Yeah.
It's people that kind of rely on that for their fuel.
Well, that's
And
what I was
generally
always
around
wondering with you, Emerald, with all that hardwood there, that maple you were talking, what were you talking? Hickory.
Hickory and
That
oak.
shit burns. Yeah, hickory and oak are like the 2 best burning woods for BTUs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would, if I were you, I would take in that and put one. You can buy one of them littler, not even a big one, not even a medium, might even be too big, like a littler potbelly stove. The round one. Put that right in the middle of your trailer somewhere where you could sit it good. Probably end up being more towards the kitchen or what, but just run a straight pipe right out through the roof, and you could heat that place all winter with.
You know what's awesome about hickory? You don't get that you don't get that buildup with hickory.
Yeah.
You don't get the buildup in your flug or in your chimney or whatever.
Same thing with the oak and stuff too. As long as it's well seasoned, got to be well seasoned.
It's when it's still kind of dry and it's real smoky. Then that smoke is what that is. That sooty crap that builds up, and you don't have to worry about that so much with a straight pipe either, as you do if there's a bend in it. Well, straight pipe. That's why I say just put one in and run a straight pipe right straight out your roof. You could heat your house for nothing. Probably wouldn't take you.
I love the smell of pine though.
No, never burn pine in your fireplace.
I know.
Outside, not inside.
But it smells so good.
I know. Not just outside, not inside.
So does hickory.
Yeah, hickory smells good too.
Yeah, so does mesquite too.
Like, cut that stuff up and make it into shit for the barbecue grill. Then I use cherry. I get cherry trees I cut down and use that for smoking.
I like a good sagebrush fire.
Yeah, guys around here use a lot of apple.
Apples, apple, cherry.
Old apple trees that have overgrown and they're dying. They're past their prime, and they cut them up and split them up really tiny, and then they put them in their smokers.
Yep.
Apple.
We got one at camp. We have a roast smoker. It's a smoker, but you run it for like 4, 5, 6 hours, and you burn the wood on one side of it. You get a good hot fire in this box on the side of it, the box, and then you get a good hot fire. And you can use oak or pine, whatever you want to use in there, it doesn't matter.
Do
But then you
brisket.
have apple, and you soak the apple in water. These thin strips of apple wood you've split down to at most 3/4 by 3/4 to 1 inch by 1 inch at the biggest, and you just leave them in water overnight. And then the next day, you just keep dropping them across the top, and they smoke. And that heat and the smoke comes up, and it goes to the left to a big barrel stove, and that's what
Dude,
cooks your
if I-
roast. And,
If I
oh
was gonna
man,
smoke a ham, if I was going to smoke a ham, applewood would be number one.
yeah, they use that here a lot.
Oh hell,
We actually don't use
I'd
the
even
wood.
use it on a brisket.
We use the hickory shell, the nut.
Hickory's my favorite.
Yeah, but we use the shell of the nut to smoke with.
Oh,
It is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We soak them and then throw them in the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, hickory's probably the best all-around smoker wood,
mhm.
Yeah, it is.
but
I agree.
second to that, I'd say mesquite.
Yeah, probably.
I know for building the coals in the smoker, scrap 2x4s and shit from a construction site. Don't use green treated or fire treated or nothing.
Oh God, no.
No, but just scrap pine is the best thing to you put in there, and just pack that thing full, and you burn
Just
it till it
to
burns
start
down to just coals, and then you start dropping these, and you'll put in 8, 10, 12, 15 of these sticks in there at one time. Just lay them across, and then they smoke really bad. And you close everything up, then you can see the smoke all of a sudden at the other end of the grill. It comes piping out, and it
You'll
goes
get a
in one
funky
side.
taste out of that pine though if you're not careful. I just use charcoal to start it and
Okay, yeah,
cheap
that's what we
Kingsford
just use
to
pine
start it.
things. Anything that starts quick and burns quick.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, we're fucking hillbillies here.
Well, I ain't much different, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get to hang out. I've seen your camp. I could hang out there. I'd sit right down, belly up. I'd be all right. I'd fit in. You got a nice camp.
What? Oh, you mean my deer stand?
Your whole camp is nice. I seen your camp.
Oh yeah. What you saw my whole video that one time?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, okay, when I walked around, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice, really, really, really nice place. That's where
It's
I'd
not
hang
bad.
out, boy. That's where I'd hang out.
Well, I'm not going to give you the address. How's
No,
that?
no.
You're just going to come and shoot my deer.
Yeah. Anyway, if I ever did, it'd be a planned event, and we'll go through private ways of getting
No, hell,
information.
that would. Yeah, I know, I get that. And I wouldn't mind that.
Hey, Carpenter,
Yeah, I
you've
do
always
that.
got the option of whispering to Dear Butch. You guys can whisper to each other if you want
I know. Yeah, we're not
except
talking
I
about
don't know
that.
how to do whispers, you guys.
Well, you just tap my name and then wait. Well, not here.
I have to be
Carpenter.
back down in chat. Right?
You just tap on my name and then go whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You actually have to go through it.
but you can share information on whisper mode on Twitch.
Hey, Bruce. Bruce Wayne's here.
Yeah, he just went out for a stag.
Oh. I think he sounds like he really likes his new place.
I don't know where Wizard went.
He needed a change of pace. He was kind of in a rut where he was at. I could tell he didn't like that well. He likes his new place, I think. I talked to him now and he's all chipper and upbeat and, like the old Bruce was. Sometimes that's all it takes is a new surroundings.
That's what it takes for me.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes all you do is just change things up a little bit. Just like you get stuck in this mud hole and you can't get out. And if you just make a little change, move somewhere a little different, whatever, this happens. And next thing you know, your life's taking a whole different turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need a cabin or a tiny home somewhere.
I got a tiny home.
You got a freaking mansion compared to what I'm used to.
That's my escape.
Your deer stand?
Yeah, I like that place.
So do I. That's elaborate. You rifle hunt there, I take it.
No, it's actually shotgun.
Oh boy, if you could rifle hunt, that would be something.
I can hit a deer. I can hit any deer up to about 75 yards, and
Yeah.
that's about my longest shot there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Shotguns there.
with
they're
my old
not-
870.
Yeah. Shotguns are a different game. Deer hunting. I got a slug gun just for that. I got a, what the hell is it? Model 1300 Winchester with a Slayer barrel.
Okay.
That's what I use. That's what I use for 12 gauge.
See,
And
no,
I can, the absolute maximum of my shot range is about 100 yards. Anything further than that, I have no confidence.
Yeah.
I don't even shoot.
I don't know anybody out where I live that shotgun hunts deer.
Yeah. Oh, we did it for years with slugs. We did it. That's how I grew up. Slug
We don't
hunting.
do it here. We don't do that here.
I have an old JC Higgins 12 gauge in the closet that is back when you first started hunting them. Everything was smooth bore.
Yeah.
There was no rifle barrel. So what you did is you'd find anybody that would end up with like one of their bird guns, one of their 870s or whatever they had. My case, it was an old JC Higgins model or 12 gauge. I think it was called a Model 12 is what it was called. A 12 gauge Model 12. And that one shot really accurate. And I found it out by accident monkeying around. I'd used it for bird hunting for like 2 or 3 years. And then I was running slugs through it one day, and this thing was really accurate out to about 60, 70 yards. I mean, you could hit a pack of cigarettes every time.
I had a
And then
20 gauge.
put it
I had
up,
a
and that was my deer gun for probably 15 years, and then the rifle barrels come out.
you know what's funny about that is the 870 that I shoot was my first gun ever. I got it when I was 14, and I'm 54 now. It was my first gun that was given to me, and I deer hunted with it for a long time. And then one day I thought, I'm going to get a slug barrel for it because it's a shorter barrel, easier to handle. Couldn't hit a damn thing with it. So I used my standard, 32-inch barrel or whatever the hell it is. And I never miss.
Yeah, over here, bow hunting's, we're in Minnesota too. This is Minnesota, Wisconsin, same place. Bow hunting's really big. And I know guys that every other year trade in Matthews bows. Well, if you price Matthew top of the line bows, they're $1,800, $2,000. And every other year, these guys will trade them in, and they're lucky if they get on a trade in if they get $300 or $400 for that bow.
Really?
So every couple of years, they're spending $1,200, $800, $1,500, whatever.
Why the hell would you buy a new bow every year?
I don't know, but I only ever had 2 bows, and like that old shotgun of yours, you were trying to fix what wasn't broken.
Right. And
sometimes just knowing your equipment is way more important than what it's called. It doesn't really matter what the fuck it is. It don't matter if you got the latest sight, the latest barrel, the latest this. That don't matter. If that ain't what you're used to, it don't matter. You got to go with what, like you said, I don't ever mess with it with the bird barrel on it, but the iron sights, I can't shoot for shit with those.
No, I just have my standard duck barrel on it.
Yeah, I go
duck barrel that I shoot with.
Yep, ventilated rib.
And vent rib. And I found out that the 2 3/4 shells are better than the 3-inch shells out of it.
I've heard that.
They don't.
I've heard that.
I don't know what it is about them, but maybe don't flinch as much because a 3-inch slug has got one hell of a kick.
Yeah. You ought to get, last probably 6 years I got into, turkey and goose hunting real heavy, and I got that Browning, and it chambers 3.5 inch. And they're 3.5 inch, 2 1/8 ounce rounds. And some of them are Magnum loads,
Holy crap, really?
Yeah, you pull that fucking trigger on that thing, and I swear you can feel every piece of dental work that you put off for the last couple of years.
Well, that's what I did to Canoes when he came down. I had my Model 11. It's got a 5 round chamber on it, semi-automatic Model 11.
Yeah, yep.
But those 3.5s, you only get 3 in there.
Yeah, you're lucky it shoots 3.5. So a lot of them didn't,
Well, we were shooting Magnum load slug.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 inches.
Yeah, they pack a wallop. They kick, don't they?
Oh, it was, yeah, it kicked like a mule. That's what he said. He said, that's something that kicks like a mule.
Well,
And it went through 2 pieces of 1/4-inch steel.
I was
Especially-
dating my girlfriend, and at the time she ended up being my wife, but I was dating my girlfriend, and her sister, I fucking can't stand her. She's just a sarcastic ass. All the
Right.
time, constantly. So anyway, I had my shotgun out and I was shooting trap loads. You know the difference with the little short end on them, the light loads for trap loads, and
it's
for,
an 7.5 or whatever.
yeah, the little light ones. They're not even field
1
loads.
ounce.
They're actually it says right on the box, trap loads. They're really
Yeah.
light loads.
1 ounce.
So I was teaching
7.5.
my wife with those. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, she was telling her that's no big deal, this and that. And so when she handed me the gun, I just dropped a 3-inch ounce and an 1/8 slug in there.
Oh no,
Yeah, it slammed it shut. And I said, well, here, try it.
the big difference there.
Yeah, but knocked her off the deck.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
Nightingale says your thumbnail goes great with the outdoor campfire in the background.
Oh, yeah. Who would,
Nightingale, I wish I could send you a picture of my deer stand. I can't do that here though. So
don't you have that video? That walk around you did?
no, that was a long time ago.
Oh, I watched it. I watched
don't-
that whole thing.
I can't save any. I don't save any of that stuff. It's lost to history now.
Oh, was it live when maybe it was?
It was either live or you could see it for like, I don't know how long the Twitch keeps it, like a week or 2.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, I
weeks.
watched the whole video though. That was good.
Yeah.
That's a nice camp. I'd hang out there. That's where I'd hang
It's
out.
a fun spot. Yeah.
Oh, I bet it is. Especially this time. It's going to start getting really fun now for the next few months too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just realized I've got 3 head nets for mosquitoes.
Hey, the reason I fell out was because of I just ran out of solar. I ran out and started up the generator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were ditching us.
No, not on purpose.
I don't mean to talk about because right, we're talking about shotgun. I'm not a gun guy at all. I just like my hobbies just happen to have guns. So hunting rounds, hunting guns and shit, I know, but all the other, I don't know guns. I don't, I'm
the same way too. People ask me about guns because they think I know about guns.
Yeah, and I don't. I really don't, Butch.
I just know about the guns I own, and that's about it. So
exactly, that's what I was saying about that 12 gauge of yours. That's the case. Then just don't even bother with that fancy schmancy slug barrel.
No.
If the other one works, go back to what works for you.
Hey, you want to have some fun? Go try shooting sporting clays with a pump action shotgun.
No, you're wasting your time.
No, I had fun though. We weren't competing. It was just fun.
Yeah, you got to be quick with that. That's why I went with my left arm.
I said, I can do this. I'll do it. I will try my best. I sucked, but I hit enough targets to say I got a couple doubles too.
Nice. That's
with
good
the
when you can
pump
pull a double
off. That's tough with the pump.
Yeah, that's tough with a pump. That's what I was having problems with after I had my surgery. Like I can hold my arm up good and stuff, but then when I'd pump my gun and I'd go back out, I'd be so far off the bird because of the left. I don't know where the left arm is in space.
Oh yeah.
If I can see it, I'm okay. But if I can't see it, like if I'm concentrating on the bird, when I rack the round back out and I go back to get on sight, I'm spending all this time trying to catch back up with the birds that are going by. First shot, I'm okay, but after that, so that's why I went to semi-automatic.
Well, see, I had a Remington 1100.
Right, Nightingale. You got it.
That was given to me by my mom after my dad passed away. And I invited my brother up to deer hunt at our land, and he didn't have a gun, so I gave him my dad's gun.
Nice.
Because he didn't have a gun. And so that was my semi-auto that but I've got a Browning Actually, Carpenter, do you know what a Browning superposed is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll look it up though.
It predates, I think it's probably a 1940s
Hey,
over under
I
Browning.
got a bail. I got a bail on you guys. Sorry.
Oh,
That's
okay.
cool.
All right, it's getting late anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about, oh shit, it's 12:30 already.
You were just saying the other
12:30
day, Butch. You were saying that you got a little $1 or $2 in your pocket and you really don't have nothing to do with it.
What?
But go on,
No, I
grab one
spent
of
it
them.
all today on support the troops. Okay, how's that?
Oh, I was thinking like
what?
you should have got a Browning Maxus. Oh my God! Wait till you see one of those and you feel one of those work. They're
what
like
is that?
it's like
No, is that
$1,600. It's a 12 gauge semi-automatic.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
don't.
like it's top of the line. But you can feel it. I mean, like the difference between it is just like it's amazing how they feel to shoot them. They're so smooth.
I'd have to think about $1,600 for a gun. Is
I know it. I know it. I wanted one forever, and I saved for it, and I got it. But I know what you mean.
You always have to make your first shot the best shot, and then
Oh yeah.
you're lucky after that. So
Well,
that's why every time I shoot a deer, it's the first shot. I never.
you don't
depend on
duck
the
hunt and
second
bird
shot.
hunt and stuff, do you?
I've got about 10,000 acres of pheasant land I can hunt, but I don't have a dog to hunt with,
Oh,
so it's kind of tough.
yeah.
And that's out right next to South Dakota, and there's freaking birds this year. Holy crap, are there
I
birds
know it.
this year?
I've been watching them. I see it. It's going to be. I'll let you guys go to bed. I could talk. I wouldn't quit talking till like Wednesday or Thursday.
No, I'll just keep talking too.
Okay.
But it is getting kind of late, though.
Yeah.
So.
I'll let these guys go to sleep.
All right, guys.
Hey, dear Butch, you should buy one of Ranger's dog. One of his puppies.
No, I got a dog, and I'm single now, and I don't need the baggage. He's 11.
Okay.
That's the problem, is I just don't need the baggage right now.
No problem. I was just making a suggestion.
I'd love to have another dog. I've never been without a dog, but now I'm gonna have to be because I can't. Being alone, I can't have a dog anymore. So it is what it is, man.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you for making tonight a great conversation.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me in. I appreciate that.
You rocked it, man. And thank you, Carpenter. God bless you, brother.
Thanks, Carpenter.
Yeah. Thanks for tolerating me, guys.
No, we always appreciate you drove the whole conversation tonight. We love that.
I know, and I gotta quit that.
I did anyway.
Nah, it's all good. You did great. Absolutely.
Good night, Nightingale.
Sweet dreams, Nightingale. Dream well, Patriots. And we'll see you here back tomorrow night.
Yep. Later.